And welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name is Sean Bell, and I'm joined by Matthew, OJ, the Juice Man, Murray.
The J-Man, hello.
And James Farley.
Hello.
I don't know what your middle initials are, mate. I can't.
You don't need to know. It's
okay, fine. Well, we'll keep it like that. We'll keep it strictly professional.
Yeah. No, so how many middle names have you got, James?
Well, two.
Have you got two?
Well, I mean,
it's probably pretty obvious from my user ID on like everything. So you know.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. So Clive Anthony.
It's definitely Clive. Yeah, it's yeah.
Is it Clive?
It's Clive Adonis.
I think
no.
James Clement. Yeah.
Have either of you ever modded a console?
I mean, I got a chip put in my Dreamcast.
Okay. Have you ever done any? Like, you ever done it yourself?
No.
Because I fitted some new casings for my
you
Joy-Cons.
did, didn't you? Yeah. How did that go?
Last night. It's fucking horrible.
What,
it's
just
like,
so
honestly,
stressful?
Yeah. So, you know Joy-Cons cost about £70 for a pair.
They're not cheap.
Mate, if you open them up, like, you'll see why.
Yeah, they are super.
For some reason,
they're super complicated because a couple of times I had all that trouble with the buttons on mine. And I looked online and they were like, "Oh, you can. It's an easy fix. You can just like take the thing apart and you can just like redo the buttons or whatever, and it'll be fine." Looked at the YouTube video and I was like, "I'm not doing that. That's just."
This is the thing, isn't it? Because when you're talking about stuff like this and you're going on YouTube channels who do stuff like this, like to them, if there's no soldering involved,
then it's easy. Yeah.
Like, never mind the fact that there's like half a dozen fucking tiny ribbon cables that you've got to like take out and then carefully put back in.
Yeah,
they're fucking microscopic. And they're like, oh yeah, this guide's like, oh yeah, my first go, it took me about an hour, so like assume it'll, be about that, but I can do it quicker now. I think it was about 3 hours I was doing this.
Oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely excruciating. It's it was just constant. So I did the left one first. For some reason, I thought the left one would be the harder one. I don't know where I got that idea from, because it turns out it's the right one that has all the important shit in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got that's what has the Bluetooth radio and the aerial for the NFC stuff, and another weird panel that I've no idea what it does. And just nearly had.
Did you think that would be harder because it had a D-pad? It's like, that D-pad is going to trip me up.
Yeah, I don't know. I did get it all sorted in the end. I lost the spring for my R button, but the good news is I just thought, because after scouring the floor for about 20 minutes trying to find it, I just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to reassemble it and see how it feels without it. Doesn't make any difference as far as I can tell.
That's all right.
So that was okay.
I'm sure you'll find it in about 3 days.
Probably when my kid swallowed it.
See, I found the Joy-Cons though to be probably the worst controllers I've ever had in terms of reliability and braking, because the original ones I've had 2 replacements for the left Joy-Con, and now my right one, the what's called the controller stick, just keeps doing the thing where it keeps pointing downwards all the time.
Oh, nice.
Which is really irritating. If you're playing any game, suddenly your character's looking up in the air all the time. And it's just, it's... Yeah.
We see that partly what spurred me on to do this is my left Joy-Con, whenever the rumble activates, it rattles really loudly and it feels it's so, properly goes through me, nails down a chalkboard stuff. So I thought, you know what, if I just get a new case, maybe that'll do the job. That hasn't fixed it. So that's great.
Is it the motor, you reckon?
I think maybe it's just fucked. But then, I mean, maybe if you can buy spares, that'd actually be quite easy to replace. But so I got this kit, and it's the white, and they've got little SNES coloured buttons, which is really cool, and a proper D-pad as well, which is really nice. And I think overall, I'm glad I did it. But yeah, it was just such a horrible experience. You can't. one of the things is like, generally when you're reassembling something, you tighten all the screws as tight as possible, right? Just to make sure everything's like snug and secure and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Except with a Joy-Con, if you do them too tight, it means none of the buttons work.
A what?
So you want everything to be secure, but not too secure, or else you'll have to you'll do it all back up and then try and use it, and nothing works, and you have to undo it again. I also so the rails on the sides, on the right-hand Joy-Con, I think I must have not reconnected that properly, because it all seemed to be working until I actually plugged it in, and then it would disconnect every time I actually slotted the Joy-Con into the Switch. Yeah, so it was just like opening it up and checking things and closing it back, trying it again, and like checking all the buttons work. And what a horrible experience that hasn't actually fixed the thing I wanted it to. Now, the Switch looks cooler as a result.
Oh yeah. The white casing looks so good.
Yeah. I am pleased with it, but God, what a fucking
the closest
ordeal.
I got to that was, I think, one of my old iPhones that had dust in and around the camera area, and I think maybe Dave might have done similar or replaced it. So it's really easy. If it wasn't that, it was something else that it's relatively easy to fix on the phone. He's like, do this. Here's a YouTube video, and I tried doing it, and I got like halfway through, and it just got so stressful, and it wasn't going right. I just redid everything back up and then went straight to the store. And then also he's like, you can also mod your pads and get like an Xbox stick and a PlayStation pad. I was like, there's no chance in hell
he was mad on that. He was always
no chance in hell I'm doing that. The only relatively stressful thing is when I tried to put I guess it's like a screen protector on the Switch, and like the one I've got now, I can't remember the name of the brand, but it's basically like a solid bit of plastic, and it's way easier to put on. Whereas the other one was it was just like a flimsy bit of protective cover, and I almost had a breakdown doing that just because it's just like, okay, this isn't lined up. There's bubbles.
One of the good things when we lived in Shanghai was that outside McDonald's, a lot of McDonald's, there was always a little old lady sitting there who would attach those for you. And
no way.
She did a fantastic job every time.
An actual pro.
She was like a proper pro at doing it. It was amazing. It was amazing to watch her work. And any time we used to use that, it's great.
Well, so they must be so popular over there that there is a need for someone to be outside of McDonald's.
Yeah,
constantly
not just McDonald's, just around. Yeah, they're just around in the street, and you just go and do it, and they'll do it for you. It was great.
You see, because my phone's fucked as well due to child. To the point that I think it's basically lost all resale value now. So I'm like, do you know what? I've got another year before I'm due a new one. I'll pay to get it repaired. 200 quid to get that done. And I just, I don't know what to do.
So
because I can't bring myself
is that
to
for
do
the screen? What is that? What does that cover?
That's just to replace the glass on the front of it.
Wow.
And that's it. Like the actual screen works. It's just like the glass on the front is just all cracked and fucked, and it's 200 quid.
See, that would drive me mad.
And I found out. You're sorry?
That would drive me mad. That would just like having a phone with a cracked screen. It would just
exactly.
Yeah, I couldn't handle that.
It's my own fault for not protecting it, but I was like, well, I'm always careful. But of course, my 16-month-old baby, not so much.
Not as careful.
No. And I found you can do it yourself, but you have to buy this tool that melts all the glue around the screen. Thank you.
Yeah, I did like an iPhone battery replacement, and that was horrible enough. Just doing that, and then still not convinced it made any difference. Anyway,
was this back when they built them specifically to stop you doing that?
Well, they've always done that, but it was.
Is that still a thing? Okay.
Yeah, and it's that was horrible. Mind you, it was only on a 3GS, so it's no good. Anyway,
right. Anyway, podcast. Follow up.
Let's get.
What we got, Matt?
Let's get straight into the big stuff. Martin, last week we talking about kids' TV because we're all dads. Martin Baker's got a breaking news. Hey Dougie season 3 starts in March, so assuring you are safe from the iPlayer Dougie drought. I'm sure by this time you've already plugged the holes. You've already bought everything on DVD, I guess, just to.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Was this on the show? Was this because I know we talked about it when I streamed on Tuesday? I
wasn't sure if it even made it onto the show.
It was on the show.
It might have been both. I've been talking to people about this a lot.
Yeah.
So, this is the fact that a load of Hey Dougie episodes seem to be disappearing off iPlayer, but it's fine because there's a new series soon, so that's
all
good.
We talked about Kingdom Hearts a couple of weeks ago, and this email it actually got sent to us last week. I don't. It got covered.
I don't
somehow.
remember talking about Kingdom Hearts. I've
were
never
back
talked
into
about
it. It got mentioned on the show somehow. And this email came in last week, but it went into the wrong inbox. Anyway, that was on me. It was a different spam thing. Don't worry about it. Ben Bowers emails in. So you made it pretty clear on the last episode that the latest and final, or is it, installment of the Kingdom Hearts series probably won't be covered in much depth, which is fairly understandable given that it's targeted at a fairly niche audience that you guys don't seem to fall into, albeit it's a niche that has pretty huge sales figures. I have to say that out of the three of you, there's no way I would pick Sean to be the one to have played the previous mainline games. That's weird, because I thought, I guess out of you two are like the closest ones, but is it that far away from what you normally play, Sean?
I suppose it is, because I normally don't have time for JRPGs, but then it's not really a JRPG, it's sort of an action game. I have secured a copy of Kingdom Hearts 3, but I haven't played it yet. I will.
So as someone who's worked their way through pretty much all the series, including those ridiculously titled 2.8 remix bullshit box sets, I thought I'd give you a quick rundown on Kingdom Hearts 3. This is especially for you, James, I imagine. Basically, if you play Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2, it's a pretty version of exactly the same game. It looks fantastic, animation's excellent, some of the voice work is very good, it's overly long, like this email, the plot is still utterly incomprehensible no matter how many YouTube breakdown videos you may have watched. It's pretty much a button masher, the gummy ship sequences are absolutely terrible, and yet I'm enjoying it a lot, but a lot of people won't, as it's just so damn hard to connect with. It's incredibly frustrating as an unashamed Disney geek to see the potential for this melding of Disney worlds become such an overburdened mess. The plot has become a beast that Tetsuya Nomura clearly couldn't keep control of over the years, and the end result is a melting pot of colourful characters that we know and love, alongside various people in dark hooded coats who are part of groups starting with capital letters that are supposed to sound ominous, but mean nothing as we have no idea or memory of their purpose in the plot. There's not even a point playing with kids, as its complicated story and dragging cutscenes will bore or confuse them to tears. It's mindless drivel, and yet 30 hours in, I'm still playing, and that's because I'm a sucker for anything Disney and I'm an idiot. Again, if you played the previous games in any iteration and enjoyed them, you'll feel exactly the same about this one, so if you didn't, you won't. Hope that helps. Really enjoying the new version of TCGS. So
cool.
This will be you. Yeah, I'm sure you'll be a massive fan after playing this, and Sean. You may not. I mean, how much of the others do you even remember?
Enough, and I did really enjoy them, but I think my concern is that obviously my tastes will have changed, and I just won't have the time for it.
See, also,
we'll see.
I read a big feature on this because I edited a whole thing on it, and this is the thing that people keep saying about how convoluted and complicated it is. That seems kind of antithetical to the whole Disney sort of ethos of being accessible for all and all that kind of thing. It just
for sure. It's really strange,
bizarre. Yeah,
and it's more complex than any JRPG story as well. It's just absolutely mental.
I hear it's pretty long though, and a big reason of that is because there are so many previously on sort of cutscenes where it explains what happens, and so maybe if they ditched the explaining videos, it would actually be half the length. But
yeah.
I mean,
plus they could have written it so that just Kingdom Hearts 1 to 3 made sense in and of themselves. But hey, there's this other stuff that maybe fleshes out certain things. But no, all the extra stuff is directly referenced and is quite important in the mainline games. So yeah, it's a weird one.
Are you gonna start this week, Sean?
I you're challenging me to do so.
This is another Yakuza.
What have you done first, this or Yakuza?
No, all right. I will try and play enough so that I can talk about it next week.
Good. Okay.
See how we go.
Don't have to push it, Sean. It's fine.
No. Get it finished by Monday. With Now and Pie. Hello, soy boys. Is that an insult? I don't know. Anyway,
it's a bit.
It is, but only if
I hear that. What is that?
It's only an insult if you're fucking Paul Watson, the one who eats books, not the one from Eurogamer.
Okay.
So I assume it is meant in jest on this occasion.
I was like, why would you bother about going to China when Japan is the same travel distance and it's clearly the best of the Asias? I went there last year and it was bloody brilliant. The
whole point is that because James would be our tour guide, right? And he knows.
And also, I'm sure Japan's very interesting. I've never been there. I was planning on going there in April, actually, because we're going back to China soon. But I don't know. I'm really pretty convinced that you're not going to get the same level of I don't want to say weird because that will sound I don't know, whatever. But okay, you're not going to get the same level of interesting in Japan, I don't think, as you would in parts of China. It's Yeah.
There's a YouTube channel that I started following, and I might have mentioned it before, but it's just a guy who just walks around Japan with a really high quality camera and microphone and just does like hour-long walks and just films it.
Yeah.
And and like sometimes you come across something like that on YouTube and you're like, oh, I wonder how long this video is. Oh, get in, it's fucking 90 minutes.
Put it on the background.
It's just really nice to just have on. But yeah,
I mean, I have always wanted to go to Japan. I mean, is that the big gaming district? Is it Akihabara? Is that how you pronounce it?
Akihabara.
Akihabara. I remember, so many years ago, and they said, like Miyamoto used to go through there and like put a demo of a game on a kiosk and was supposed to play it. I mean, maybe that's just bullshit, or maybe that actually happened. I mean, having never been there, but I would assume that is like it's totally different these days, and I think even that part of Japan is super touristy now, whereas obviously 10, 15 years ago it's like a different place. But I would love to go there. But yeah,
my favourite story about Japan is my friend Richard Warner. I believe he's a listener. I think it was him. He'll probably correct me, but basically he went to Tokyo and got lost, and I think he got separated from whoever he was on holiday with, and he realised that like in Tokyo there were signs that just had like Pikachu on them and were pointing in like a certain direction, and he just figured he'd follow those because there was no way they would lead him to danger. It's like wherever this leads, it's got to be something good.
Yeah, it can't be dangerous.
No.
I mean, you haven't heard from him since, have you?
No, he died.
No, that is. Yeah. So, always pay attention. So, that's it for follow-up. You're going to... No, we're not going to clarify. If you want to leave us feedback, it's at ComputerGamePod on Twitter, or you can email podcast@thecomputergameshow.com. James.
I thought Sean was going to introduce it.
No, well, he doesn't... I mean, he would just say James as well.
No, I know, but last week we had this again where I just went straight into it, and
how is this still okay? Like, Sean, please.
What are we doing with this? Can we just decide?
Let's just agree. Which one? Which do you want? Do you want me to call it out, or do you want to just go into it? I don't mind.
You call it out because then I know when to begin.
In future, I will call it out.
No. Yeah. I want to hear this huge introduction that James thinks you've got.
And now James will read out this week's news items.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, we've got a couple of quick hits before we get to the meat, as it were.
Okay.
And so the first one is about Starbreeze, because we've talked about them quite a lot, but they're giving they're selling the System Shock 3 publishing rights back to the developer. So this is going back to Warren Spector's Other Side Entertainment. Starbreeze haven't revealed how much they're going to get, but basically it's to try and right the ship, I think, because of how much money that they owe everybody. But they're still publishing 2 games. They're still publishing Psychonauts 2 and 10 Crowns. So I'm surprised.
I forgot they were publishing Psychonauts 2. Jesus.
Mm-hmm. So that's that.
I remember when they bought that.
Hopefully, good news. Hopefully means we'll actually see the game eventually.
Yeah.
But when these guys bought it, we're like, oh, this means hopefully we'll see the game, and then this has gone tits up, and now we're like, well, it's been sold back. Hopefully this means we'll see the game.
I would hope that a team led by Warren Spector making System Shock 3 would not struggle to find another publisher. But we'll see.
I'll be well up for a System Shock 3. It's okay.
Yeah. I can't see it happening. I mean, they had it before and they weren't doing anything. That's why Starbreeze bought it, but who knows? I mean, that would be a great Microsoft exclusive, wouldn't it?
Well, anything would be a great Microsoft exclusive at this stage.
Okay, let's not. Not here.
Okay. Dances can't be copyrighted.
Finally, it's over. Our long national nightmare is over. And thank God.
Basically, the US Copyright Office has ruled that a dance can't be copyrighted. So this was brought by Alfonso Ribeiro because he brought 2 lawsuits to try and copyright his dance, the Carlton, from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, etc. The case was dismissed, and a registration supervisor said the combination of these 3 dance steps is a simple routine that is not registerable as choreographic work. So it's like, obviously, you can only copyright something like that's a dance if it's got like a massive. I was going to say, this is the thing.
Like we already knew this, didn't we?
Yeah.
This was the when this first started coming up. Like there were a lot of musicians and stuff who were getting a bit pissed off that Fortnite was making shitloads of money by selling dances that they'd come up with, and basically it was confirmed back then that the way the law is written, certainly in America, is you can copyright a sequence, like a choreographed sequence, but not an individual dance move.
Yeah, especially not with 3 steps.
Hands down, so you can copyright a full like the Macarena, whatever. Like, that's obviously that's more recognisable. So you can copyright that. It's even though it's just physical movement.
Yeah,
that can be copyrighted. So if I were to do it, like, no, you're in breach of copyright. Don't do that ever again in public. Is that?
Well, I think that's fine.
Definitely don't do it on stream.
It's when people start making money off it that people start to get annoyed.
Okay, right.
You know, so.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
this
is what makes me laugh is that like everyone's been going in on Fortnite about this. Meanwhile, Destiny 2's like, okay, like.
I mean, Destiny 2's had it for ages. I mean, like before
and
Fortnite.
it's all
but nobody played Destiny 2, did they?
Well, I think that's literally the only difference is the audience is relatively so much smaller than Fortnite, so it's just not really a big deal. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's appealing.
That means this is over, surely, right? No more.
Well, no, he's appealing the decision, so he's gonna have another go. But I
what's the point?
It's gonna work out.
It was second opinion, but just
money, isn't it?
Well, no, but it's not money if he's not gonna. It's not money if he's not gonna win. What's the point? How's it been money for him up to now?
That's the.
Okay, next news story is that Nintendo Direct, which so they had one last week, was it? Was it last week on Wednesday
it was
or
last
Thursday?
week, yeah.
I can't remember. Because we talked over it, didn't we?
It was Saturday.
Big time.
Was it Saturday? No, it wasn't. This is irrelevant. It doesn't matter.
Definitely wasn't Saturday.
Okay, this is totally irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Anyway, what I thought we could do is I've got a list of all the stuff.
It was a Wednesday or whatever. Who cares?
Thanks, Matt.
Just stop. Just shut up. Let's just get on with it.
It was a Wednesday.
I don't remember. It's been a long week. Anyway,
10 p.m.
I'm going to go through
James.
What?
How has it been a long week? It's Monday.
Oh, no, just last week was horrible. It's still horrible. Anyway, can we just get on with this?
Yes.
Just stop saying stuff. It's really annoying. Okay, I'm going to go through some of the stuff that was announced because there was a lot of stuff. And I had very, very low expectations for this, as I usually do, because I'm that kind of person.
I think we all did, to be fair. It was, we knew it needed to be good. I think just no one thought it was going to be.
It's partly because in many, many times in the past, Nintendo have had things that needed to be good and then they haven't been.
They just haven't.
It's been. I mean, the whole of the Wii U basically like that. That time.
Console.
You know, I mean, I never forget like those last sort of directs that they started to do. You know, like when it was on its on life support, and that was terrible.
It was just fully winding down, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was really embarrassing to watch. It was terrible. Yeah, anyway. This was good, though. There was actually a whole bunch of really good stuff, and they kicked off with Super Mario Maker. And not even just a port, this is like a full-on sequel for Switch that's coming in June. So, what do you think?
I mean, I've never played any of the others, but that was largely due to, like, when it came out on the Wii U, I was like, well, I'm not really playing Wii U games anymore. And then it came out on the 3DS, and I was like, well, I'm really not playing 3DS games anymore. But this is coming out on a thing I am using on the reg. So, yeah, I'm excited. And
also, the best thing, you see, I've had this on Wii U and on 3DS because my son, I reviewed it, I think, on 3DS, and like my son plays it all the time still. And compared with, say, Little Big Planet, of which I've only had like a bit of exposure to, there is a lot of good content got created for these games, and it's so easy to like play it as well. And there's all like weekly levels and stuff like that. This really felt, creating levels was really fun, but just the amount of stuff that came out that was quality was really good. So I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
I obviously it's been discussed in this podcast many times. I didn't grow up with Nintendo, so I don't really have the sort of the absolute love that some of you will do. So for me, it's just like obviously I know the first one was meant to be good, but I don't really have much interest in this because any sort of creation games like Little Big Planet or Dreams, I've never had any interest in that really. But
so I know what you mean.
I guess
like
playing
Little
new
Big Planet
cool levels, I'm way more interested in this than I would be any other creation game. Because if I can play cool levels created around the world, then that does sound awesome.
Yeah. Well, you can do that, and it's also the fact that because of the fact that you are creating like 2D Mario levels, there are limits like to it because of that. But then that makes it really great because then people like create stuff within those limits and try and push it all the time. Whereas it always felt a bit like with stuff like Dreams and everything, everyone's expecting they're going to make like a Call of Duty like mod or something like that out of it. Whereas this is a lot more focused, which I think really helps.
Yeah, I think that's definitely right. And as you say, it's because it's sort of because it's rigid isn't the word I'm after, but there's like everything's made up of like the same size blocks, and like it's all systems you're kind of familiar with through playing Mario games and stuff. It feels like there's a framework there, but as you say, but then there is this end of the scale where people have gone nuts with it and done really clever things, whereas Little Big Planet, because it's so open, it's just bewildering, like if you're new to this stuff, and it's like really hard to know where to start. Plus, this is a good platform game, whereas Little Big Planet was always.
Yeah, and they've said in this one that you can put slopes in it amongst other things.
Yeah, that wasn't in the that wasn't in the other one. It's like there was no slopes in the first one, but I'm properly excited for this because it's really good to just like because you can just sit down for like a couple of minutes and just like sketch something out, and it's like this is fun to play or whatever. It's not like a massive time sink and stuff either.
But do you see yourself doing that then? Way more.
Absolutely. I mean, I did that on the Wii U quite a lot. Every weekend I used to sit there and like just do stuff. It was. I mean, Dave used to make levels as well. I mean, I played a couple of these. They were
I mean, I'm smelling a new stream. I'm thinking. I doubt YouTube did, but basically, when the first one came out, there's this massive challenge over on Giant Bomb, and like Dan Reichert and Patrick Klepek and like, maybe even Jeff Gerstmann were making their own levels, and they were like ridiculously hard, and they were like up in the ante and creating like big bets if they were going to win it. You have to try and beat the level or not. So I'm really excited for this game just to see more of that and just to see some of like ridiculously hard levels. And because I was watching those streams just because it was fun to watch, or I had no interest in the game. But well, when's this out? In June.
It's out in June. It's soon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Far off then.
I mean, I think a lot of people think may wanted a port of the first one. They're like, well, the first, this one, is it going to work with or without touch and stuff? How's it going to work with docked or undocked?
Well, it looks like if it's docked, it looks like you can do it. You can control things by just like selecting them on screen with the D-pad and everything. But then I assume that also if it's undocked, you can probably just use the touchscreen, and that should be fine. I mean, one of the best things about it was that they did it so that you can't upload a level unless you can finish it.
Yeah,
like unless you can complete stop, which stops people doing just like impossible levels and stuff. So that was what was always cool. Because you like download stuff and you're like, it's possible. Like it's got to be possible to do it. It's just sometimes,
and it gives you a percentage, doesn't it, of like a percentage completion.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then they also, I mean, with the Wii U one, they also did all the stuff where they had like competitions as well, and like tournaments that were going on at like conventions and things, and they'd like upload the levels that were being designed for that, and it was brilliant. It was really good. And I mean, I'm really hopeful that what will happen with this is because the Switch is obviously doing significantly better than the Wii U, it's going to be even bigger. Like this should be good.
Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
cool.
Next, we had Box Boy and Box Girl.
I've not played any of these. I gather they're meant to be very good, though.
Yeah.
What sort of games are they?
Just like puzzle platformers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of Box Boy. Is Box Girl? Is that the new part of the game?
I think so. Yeah. Because Box Boy was 3DS. They were all on that. I believe.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so I know
cool.
it's another.
Okay.
Then we had Dragon's Quest XI S, which is coming in autumn. I don't think does anyone care?
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Okay. Then we had Captain Toad is getting free co-op and paid DLC in March. So that's I mean,
that's quite good.
And I was happy about this because I mean, my son was absolutely delighted. Although then it did mean that I had to play Captain Toad with him most of this weekend. And the thing is that sounds good, but it's also because it's like a puzzle game and he's only 5 years old. It does get a bit frustrating, you know.
Does he just get stumped really easily, or does he keep coming up? Does he keep coming up with bad ideas?
No, he can do it like absolutely fine. But because he's finished the game like on his own.
Oh, fair enough.
Because he absolutely loves it. It's his second favourite game after Mario Odyssey, and he spent hours and hours on that game. But no, what's annoying is if you're playing it like in 2-player co-op. He keeps on like moving the camera all the time, and it's like, no, leave it, stop moving the camera like that. And it's just it gets irritating like when you're playing like that.
No, I've been tempted to pick this up again because I had it on the Wii U, but never finished it, and it's £25, I believe, on the eShop at the moment.
Well, worth it. It's really good. Yeah. I mean the later levels because they added on like stuff from Mario Odyssey as well.
That's right, yeah,
and stripped out the 3D world stuff, which is a shame.
Yeah,
but the Mario Odyssey stuff is like it's not great because it's really short and really brief. But my son was so excited when he saw the Odyssey. He was like, "Yeah, it's the Odyssey. It's the Odyssey." It was great. But
there's also more stuff. Is it just like themed levels? That's basically it, right?
Yeah. It's like got New Donk City and like a bunch of other stuff as well.
Okay,
but it's a really good. It's a brilliant game. Like it is really very good. But and then there also there's more levels coming, so that'll be fun. But only for the Switch version. Not for the not for 3DS. Okay, then we got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I mean, great.
I mean, that will be good. It's just I think I talked about this when we talked over the stream. It's just so strange that we get. I mean, it's not that strange we're getting a new one because obviously Marvel's huge again now. But like the first two were just like perfect, like just like you just sit down with a mate and put about 8 hours into it and eat crisps. Back when we had time to do that sort of thing. Because I was still sort of late teens when the first ones came out. So we played through that, and then it was like this whole genre between these and like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, and there was like a couple of others. These sort of stripped down sort of action RPGs that were they were really good. It'd be interesting to see if this it'll do well enough because it's got Marvel on the box, but whether it I don't know finds like a similar niche this time. But I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I don't really know anything about that. It's it's not really anything.
That was a trailer from E3 where it looked like a mobile phone game, right?
Yeah. You can tell they've only developed it for the Switch, I think. But yeah.
Okay, and then we had Yoshi's Crafted World demo, which they announced, which I guess we'll talk about later, won't we?
We will, yes.
And that's, I mean, the game's coming out in March, so that's good. Mm-hmm. Then there was quite an extensive bit on Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is now coming out in July.
It was very long, this, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was long, and but it did look good. And
it did. It just they spent a lot of time focusing on it's basically an anime as well, which really throws me off.
Yeah, I mean, I like anime, like I do watch like quite a lot of stuff like that, but. Mm-hmm. I don't know. In this context, I'm less keen because I thought it worked very well, like in Awakenings, the way it was done, and I don't know. I don't really want to be sitting watching like hours of cutscenes. Rather,
it was like beautifully animated and stuff.
That's true.
Is that how were the cutscenes done in the previous games then?
Well, it was a lot of like still art and things like that they used.
Right. Just loads of text.
Yeah. There was a lot of text, which is fine. I mean, I like that. It fit it really well. But I'm sure it'll be fine. It's just because I always wonder because I mean, obviously there probably is going to be like a tie-in like anime as well because there usually is with this sort of stuff like Persona or that as well. And it's like how much of that is for that as well. Not for the game. I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, what's good, Matt? You must be interested in this.
I definitely am. I mean, once again, Nintendo's mobile strategy is working. I spent money on the mobile version, and now I'm very excited for this one. And I've never played a proper Fire Emblem game before, so I'm really interested to see what this is like. For sure.
I'm excited about you playing it. I think you'll have a very good time.
Yeah, you definitely will. Because I mean, if you thought Heroes was good, then this should be significantly better. Matt, can I ask you a question? Did you spend about as much on Heroes as you would have done if it was like a full price release?
I think I probably spent like 20 to 30 quid.
Could have just got Awakening. Oh, you haven't got 3DS, have you?
Yeah, no. I offered to send him one, like to play it because
I
said I wanted it, but it's just I know it doesn't matter. Yeah, 20. I
mean, we've got until July. We can still hook Matt up.
I have my money's worth.
Make him play it.
Actually, I didn't. That was a really dark weekend. That was a bad time.
I know. I was disappointed with that because I remember when that first came out, and like you download it, boot it up, and it's got that amazing music intro, and then it seems like it's going to be good, and then it's it ended up being incredibly limited, like in terms of strategy and everything. I was very disappointed.
But I mean, I did download it recently. I think maybe when all of the when that when Wargroove came out, I don't know if that was it, or I maybe some people were comparing that to Fire Emblem and some other stuff. I re-downloaded it, and just hearing like the sounds again, it got me. Like I can't quite describe it. It's just like when you hear those.
I'll tell you what.
Familiar sounds, you're like, oh god, I'm back. It's like when I heard, like, say, the Modern Warfare 2, a title song again, or like heard, I don't know, it's like that sort of stuff just brings you back instantly to like that time when you're really in the thick of it.
No, the menu music, the stuff when you're just in like before you select a mission and everything. Yeah. The menu music for that is brilliant in Fire Emblem Heroes. I still find myself humming that from time to time. It's excellent.
It's brilliant, but it just reminds me of a back to a time when that was all I saw mostly. I just saw my screen. I saw that app open.
Doing the orbs and doing the gacha games.
I've got 200 orbs right now. I'm saving for. Actually, I'm not doing anything. I just need to delete it, Chris. What's the next bit of news, James?
Okay, then we had so we've got a new Square Enix RPG, which is Oniaki, which is coming in summer. Did we see anything about that? I don't remember.
So this was by the team who did I Am Setsuna, and then the one that came after that. I can never remember.
Yeah,
the
that's
name
one. Yeah,
which were very good, if decidedly old school Japanese RPGs in the sort of Secret of Mana mold. This I didn't really see enough in the trailer, but this said it was like an action RPG, right?
Yes, yeah. That was one, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, those games had really nice writing and really beautiful soundtracks. So there's no reason this couldn't be very good. But we'll see.
It looked quite nice from the trailer.
Yeah.
Fine. Then we had Disney Tsum Tsum for Switch, which Matt was all over.
No, I just couldn't believe you guys hadn't heard of them. I think you hadn't, you sure?
No, I had, yeah.
But no, James,
But
are you seriously telling me you've never seen them things like in toy, or even like counters at like garden centres? They're everywhere. You can't avoid them.
I told you I avoid all of those kind of things. It's just
I don't know how you can. I guess maybe because we're older now. But.
Exactly. It's like,
I'm surprised.
my daughter's
what's
like
wrong
8,
with
she's not really interested like in that
what's
sort of
wrong with
stuff so much.
garden centres? You can't beat a good garden centre.
Exactly. Even garden centre, like okay, we'll win it through this one tiny section of toys to get to the cafe, and it's like a massive Simpsons thing. It's like, oh god. I mean, luckily Ellie's never really got into that. Although it's half term this week, and I'm off a week looking after.
Not for want of trying though, is it, Matt? Trying to get her into it.
I'm like, please. And I, over the weekend, I was like, I've been buying a couple of things just to get ready for the week. I bought a couple of films and stuff, and then I like mistakenly bought like one of those Lego. Is it minifigures? Like the you know, the ones in bags, the blind bags.
Oh, the blind bags.
Yeah, and it was like for the Lego Movie 2, which we haven't seen yet. But I bought one of them. And she's like, oh, this is brilliant. I want all 20 now. It's like, oh, what have I done?
See, we've had those. I've had the Lego blind bags. We've gone through those, but it's like you know you have to cut them off at some point because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean honestly, I can't remember the name of the thing we were getting, but like it got to the point where me and Jill were in Tesco, like feeling the boxes or like shaking and thinking, I think this is the one we need. That's how bad it got, you know. But luckily that's over. I think this won't be as bad. Anyway, Sim
Brilliant.
No.
Okay, then we had Deltarune Chapter 1 is coming for Switch. It's free to download on the 28th of February, so that's good. I mean, none of us have actually completed the other one, have we?
Undertale.
No, haven't completed Undertale. Yeah, no. But I mean, and I you know, I've heard it's great. I guess I do want to, but like with this, the guy has obviously released it. It's like a shadow like drop last year, and it came out, and there's like a bit of like rumours are leading up to it, and then it came out. But he's also said like, oh, it could be like 7 years until the next one, or I may never finish it. So
yeah,
I don't know if we'll ever see a chapter 2. But
he is willfully awkward. Is it Toby Fox? Is that his name?
No, he did. Sure.
He was interviewed for a very good podcast called Imaginary Worlds, and they did an episode about Undertale. And he famously doesn't. I can't remember if he famously doesn't give interviews or just doesn't like being recorded. So the entire interview is the host reading out questions and then Toby responding via a text-to-speech engine.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's what we should have done this year. That could be our 2019 thing.
I thought you were going to say that he would only respond to yes or no questions.
So, that's worth a listen.
Yeah, that sounds. I am going to have to check that out. That's quite good. But yeah. Anyway, okay. So the next we had Astral Train, which is a new Platinum Games game for the Switch. And
this looked brilliant.
Looked absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So it was like futuristic cops with like summoning like demons. I don't know what they were. Weird creatures that they were attached to by chains and seemed to sort of mirror everything the police officer did. And hilarity ensues.
Yeah, but it was all like Neo Tokyo. I got that sort of vibe as well. And it was it was a little bit cyberpunk.
What the fuck?
Looks good.
I'm excited. I mean, between like because they're definitely doing Bayonetta 3, right?
That was
definitely happening after.
Yeah, so between the two, they're busy.
And also apparently Scalebound as well now. So that's another rumor that hit just before we started recording.
Yeah, which seems mad.
We're going to get a bit more detail on that. What is this again?
Well, this was Scalebound. Wasn't it an Xbox One exclusive?
Exclusive, yeah.
And then it was by Platinum, and then it was canned by Microsoft, and everyone there was gnashing of teeth, obviously. And now there's rumours that Nintendo have taken it on, and but then we don't know if that's true yet. It's
I mean, how likely is that really? I mean, like, what history have Nintendo got of like going in and saving projects? That doesn't seem like a very Nintendo thing.
Yeah, but they've got a big history of Platinum though, and they've done a lot of stuff with Platinum recently, and so I don't see it as being impossible for that to be happening.
I guess when they're in the office doing Astral Chain and Miyamoto pops in, or Reggie Fils-Aimé saying, "Hey guys, how's development going?" and then like he comes in and they're joking about, "Oh, Scalebound, you." I was like, "Oh, and what's that?" And it's probably just like a joke in the office. Like, okay, we'll save Scalebound. There's definitely still a team within Platinum just like working it secretly. You guys working on Astral Chain?
Because they showed
definitely
because they showed a bit of it at E3 a couple of years ago, and. I mean, it didn't look amazing. It seemed very silly and probably quite good fun, but it didn't look like Platinum's usual. I don't know, not necessarily up to their usual standard. But I mean, yeah, if it's going to the Switch, that's fine. I mean, I'll buy anything Platinum make. There's no question of that. So yeah, I'd be quite happy for it to be saved. But I am a bit concerned that maybe they're overstretching themselves. If they've got 3 games on the go at the same time.
Yeah, especially, I really want Bayonetta 3 to be good, because 2 was so good, and it'd be good to get back into that again. Yeah, did you ever buy the Switch ones, Sean?
I did, yeah, 1 and 2.
So I've been tempted to do that, because I'd like to play them through again, but I've been waiting for a sale.
I was surprised how, like Bayonetta 1, how much less I enjoyed it than I did back in the day. Yeah. Just like a couple of sequences, like the fucking motorbike bit and stuff like that. Just like, no, this really doesn't need to be in the game at all. But 2 is flawless, yeah.
See, I remember because I played, the first time I played the first one was on the Wii U, like as part of that double pack. So I hadn't played it first. So I played the first one and I thought, this is great. Then played 2 and it's like, this really is like a cut above. It's, it's such a good game. Brilliant music as well. Okay. Then we've got we had Rune Factory 5 in the works and Rune Factory 4 coming to Switch. So this is the fantasy like Harvest Moon Story of Seasons game. None of us really care that much about this. So in what way is it like Harvest Moon? Well, it seems you've got like relationships and all that kind of thing, and
Okay. Yeah, it's like you've got a farm and you're like doing that, but also like you go into dungeons and kill monsters and stuff, which actually was taken wholesale for Stardew Valley.
I was going to say, that sounds really very Stardew Valley.
Yeah, but that was like the twist. It was like it's Harvest Moon, but it's a fantasy setting and with a bit of dungeon crawling and stuff.
In all my years of gaming and certainly last 3 or so years doing this podcast, one of the biggest things that I still can't get my head around is that why James doesn't like Stardew Valley. This could not be any more up your street if you like Animal Crossing and it's got other little elements. Like,
do you know what, Matt?
I want to lock you in a room and just force you to play it, and it's like, I think you'll like it.
Do you know what? I was just sitting here thinking about this, actually, as Sean was talking. I was listening, Sean, I promise.
That's fine.
And I was just thinking, maybe I should give Stardew Valley another go.
You totally should. Man.
It's great.
Do you think I should try it this week? I'll try it this week and then I'll report back next week.
I haven't got a memory card for my Switch, and I do need to get one, because every time I download anything I need to delete something else. But the one thing that will not be deleted is Stardew Valley. I just can't have that not on my machine. It's so good. I need to go back to it really, but I'm worried that once I do, there won't be much time for anything else. But Stardew Valley
try again, because
it's a worry.
I mean, Animal Crossing is not going to come out until the end of this year, or maybe next year. So maybe I'll try it again this week and see if I get any further.
It's just it's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Agreed.
Also, James, I think maybe very shortly, or maybe it's already happened.
Sorry, that was.
What's that?
What happened to your voice then?
I had to swallow and it was all complicated. But basically, there is multiplayer. It's definitely on the PC version of Stardew already, and it may already be on the Switch
one
version
has it as well.
Switch
has it as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you get into it, we should do that. That'd be great. Imagine that.
All right, I'll give it another try.
Imagine co-op farming or co-op dungeon. Oh, dungeons and all sorts.
I love that. Anyway. That'd be brilliant.
Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is that's coming.
Hellblade.
That's coming to
Hellblade, baby.
Just to Switch in the spring.
I'm surprised by this one. Surely it's going to look like shit.
Yeah, and the footage looks surprisingly good. So I'm thinking that wasn't Switch footage.
Yeah, I did wonder.
Also,
I'm more than happy for this to be a thing. The only thing is, I don't know if it's a game I'd want to play on a handheld, or certainly not without headphones.
That's the thing.
The sound design is a major
sound,
part
didn't they? And does the Switch even have the sort of sound hardware to really do its justice?
I mean, it's mostly like software processing, isn't it? So as long as you got a pair of headphones or decent speakers on your telly or whatever, but. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to play it in handheld mode just through the Switch's speakers for sure.
That game's on Game Pass, and I've actually got it downloaded. That's one of the games I wanted to play over Christmas, but never got around to it. And everyone says it's incredible. I should just get round to it.
How long is it?
It's not massive, is it? It's like 15 hours, something like that.
Well, I might play that.
James, if it's 15, James would probably do it in 4. Because that's normally what happens. You say any games that was 15 hours, James, I'm probably like, I did it in 6, so that's...
6 or 7, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, then we also had another big announcement, which I didn't see coming at all, which was the Link's Awakening remake coming to Switch, which I was really excited about. I mean, this is coming... It's sometime 2019, but it looks fantastic.
This was such a good part in the Direct. It was like, oh my god, what is this? Oh my god, it's Zelda! Yeah.
Yeah, it's when they opened with the ship and all that, and you're just like, this looks a lot like Link's Awakening. That's how that begins. And it's like, oh, they're redoing it, and it's one of those ones which. I was just
going to say it threw me because the persistent rumor I'd heard was that we were getting another multiplayer Zelda, like a co-op.
I'm glad we're not.
I prefer this. I think this is better.
Well, I think what happened there is that the other thing that happened later on, people heard beloved multiplayer game. They also heard new Zelda game and then assumed that, and it's it wasn't, fortunately. But this looks like it will be quality. I mean, they've redone everything, and it looks.
When I first saw this, I wasn't a fan of the art style. I was like, oh, that looks like I'm just not a fan of it. But I like it now. The more I look at it, but.
Well, it's one of those where
it's like Link Between Worlds, isn't it? It's a similar kind of art style, which makes sense, given what the original Game Boy one was like.
Yeah, it's one of those where you see it and you sort of part of you's like, I don't know if I'm massively keen on that, and then you look at the internet and everyone's absolutely screaming and tearing their faces off about it, and you're like, guys, it's fine. It's really fine. Don't.
Link's Awakening was my first ever Zelda.
Me too.
I played it on Game Boy and absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to get back to it. I mean, that was a game where you give yourself a nice name, but then you steal the shield or whatever you steal, and then everyone calls you thief for the rest of the game, or a fair portion of it. So I'm so psyched for this. I can't wait to play it again.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, then we had a Daemon X Machina free demo that's coming out, and the full game coming out in summer. Have you played that now, Sean? Presumably,
I have. Yeah.
Okay, presumably we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. I think we've all played it, yeah.
Then we got Final Fantasy IX, which is out now, and Final Fantasy VII coming in March, and 10 and 10-2 in April. It's very unlikely I'm ever going to play these.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I'm always intrigued by 9 because it's that one that,
it's supposed to be the really good one, isn't it?
Yeah, just a select few people, are just like, 9 is the fucking best one.
Yeah, I saw loads of people on Twitter saying, oh, the best Final Fantasy is out on Switch.
Yeah.
I'm like, which one is that?
But it's like the one you hear the least about. So I'm really curious as to, obviously there's this sort of very intense sort of niche appeal to it, I guess. So yeah, I'm curious.
I think this is because it's the one that sort of went back to roots to a degree, in terms of art style and all that kind of thing after 7 and 8, and they kind of went back to that, and I think people like that a lot. But I don't know. 7 is a game that I've begun and binned off at least 5 or 6 times in my life.
Same.
Are you waiting for the remake?
Yeah, that's definitely coming out still.
Assuming you don't die first. Yeah.
Okay, then we had Tetris Battle Royale, which got announced.
What an unbelievable announcement! If someone said,
no doubt,
if someone said this is actually happening, you're like, bullshit, whatever, that's not happening.
But that was free to anyone with a Nintendo Online account.
Yeah, and it also looks like there's probably new game modes coming as well to it. Which makes sense. There'll be a marathon mode and all that kind of thing. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to what you've been playing. But
when it said Tetris 99, I'm like, oh, what's the Battle Royale? I was like, I was like, hey, what?
No, that is actually that.
That's actually what it is.
I mean, it's like everyone's been saying. It's like one of those kind of it's Tetris, but it's Battle Royale, and it's but it really does work, and it's amazing. So we had that, and then we had Dragon Quest Builders 2 coming to Switch, and yeah, so that's
fine.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm not really too bothered. And that was it. But I mean, overall, I thought it was a great direct.
It's a really good direct, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to be bothered about, and a lot of things you're thinking, I haven't got enough money for all of this stuff at all because it looks great.
Yeah, and I mean obviously, minutes, I had that Daemon X Machina thing downloaded. I had Yoshi. I had like Tetris downloaded. It's like, it was a great direct in that regard. So I'm playing all these things straight away.
I'm glad that they really seem to grasp that the whole, like, even if it's not something massive, just here's a trailer for a thing and it's out now is huge. Like, even if it's just like a quick demo or whatever, like, there is something inherently exciting about that. I think like it was Apple that started that, wasn't it? Like, they used to do this with, like, they do their conferences and be like, oh, and this app is out now, or this firmware update's out now, and
you really can't beat it.
And, yeah.
Although, I mean, it didn't work so well when they tried to launch the Saturn, though, did it? When they were
no,
it's in stores right now. And then, is it? It was that didn't work, but in general, it's kind of cool. But yeah. Okay, so good directs, and then we had other good news which came after that, which was that Hollow Knight is getting a full sequel. So
I'm so fucking excited for this. It's absolutely ridiculous. We knew that Well, I think the last we heard was that paid DLC was coming that would allow you to play as Hornet, who is a supporting character in Hollow Knight, for those who haven't played it. She is really cool and has an interesting moveset. And you fight her a couple of times, but she's a goodie, really. Spoiler. That's not really a spoiler, is it? It's pretty obvious.
No, it's pretty early on.
Yeah, and so I think everyone thought, if it's paid DLC, they'll probably, add quite a lot to the world, but basically it'll just be like the same game, but you play as her or whatever. And it turns out it's an entirely new game, which, because playable Hornet was a Kickstarter stretch goal, if you kickstarted the game, apparently you still get this for free. Which is amazing.
And you could even choose a Switch version as well for free, which is pretty cool.
Nice. They've said this is coming out like day one, PC and Mac and Switch, because they've the developers did just a short video about the reveal, and they were like, basically the amount of support we've had and the amount of interest we've had as a result of the Switch version, it would be rude not to, basically. I think PS4 and Xbox are in the future maybe, but it's definitely coming to Switch day one. So that's really cool. I mean, I've already watched trailer analysis videos and stuff. Properly interested. So they've kept it ambiguous as to when this is set, but it is in a totally new place.
Because the character Hornet's kidnapped, isn't she? And then taken to this other environment apparently, and then it's there's 150 new enemy types and all that kind of thing. But then the thing you said that's really interesting is the different moveset and everything, because apparently she can make traps and stuff like that. And
she's got all gadgets she can use. She she sort of flies around using these sort of silk threads, and so you can see she's got a silk meter that recharges when you hit stuff. So it's kind of like the soul meter in Hollow Knight, but it's so you're sort of doing attacks where you're sort of zipping around between enemies and stuff, but then also you use that for your healing and a bunch of other stuff. It looks absolutely fascinating. I can't wait. Combat-wise, it basically looks like if Hollow Knight was Dark Souls, this is Bloodborne, essentially. It seems to really encourage really aggressive, fast combat.
I'm really excited for this. The more I think about this, I mean, I really do feel that Hollow Knight was probably the best Metroid-style game since Super Metroid, I think. It was
definitely.
It was so good.
And the Dark Souls comparison, I know it's really tedious, it's a bit like Dark Souls. It's the most Dark Souls. It's the only game I've played that actually comes close to matching how Dark Souls made me feel and how obsessed I got over it. Unbelievable game.
I need to play it.
Cannot wait.
I mean, the first
it's so good, man.
It's very good, Matt. It's very, very good.
If you want to do everything, you can put 60 hours in, but you don't have to.
I mean, the only thing about it is it does have a bit of a slow start. I think for a lot of people, it takes sort of about 4 or 5 hours or so before it really clicks. But then when it does, and the music is so good. I know I always talk about music, but I mean, I listen to the soundtrack often because it's just. There's so many good tracks on there.
I love Metroidvanias. I love Dark Souls, the first one. That's the only one I play. But
you should love this.
Yeah,
it's excellent.
Yeah, I should do it really.
It's so good.
Okay, the last news story is one that I chucked in right at the end because I don't know. I just think it's quite funny. So Norwich. Okay, in Norwich. So this is in East Anglia in the United Kingdom. They had a Fortnite live festival, and it was a bit of a disaster. so it turns out, so the festival was designed to recreate Fortnite on the outskirts of Norwich. Mm-hmm. Now, if you've ever been to Norwich, that's quite a funny statement to begin with. Anyway, that is quite funny. Not one of my favourite places in the UK. But anyway, so the event organisers sold 2,500 tickets, to kids and parents, and they were charging £12, and then they had these unlimited access wristbands for £20, and what happened here was that... okay, so...
Okay. Are we going to get through this news story?
No, it's really... Oh, God, I'm going to stop coughing.
Oh, here comes the coffee.
So anyway... Okay, so imagine this, right? You've sold 2,500 tickets... And you've got these £12 and £20, right? Yeah. So the event outside had a few fairground attractions. Mm. They had a climbing wall for 3 people. So then they had archery for 4 people, and it's the bit that really cracked me up. They had 4 go-karts. That was the thing. So imagine that, right? You've sold 2,500 tickets. At what point are you going to say, I don't think these 4 go-karts are enough for all these people that are coming? So they had that, and then they created what they called a cave experience. And the cave experience was a trailer with a tarpaulin over it that you could crawl through or whatever. So then the best bit, though, according to this, was that they also had an indoor area for playing Fortnite. But then the trouble, you had to pay extra though to do that. So you had to queue and pay to go and play Fortnite, and there was staff shortages as well. It was just basically an entire huge fuck up, which is just really funny. 4 go-karts though. I mean that just really
it's just incredible. I don't understand how they get away with using the game's name. Presumably this wasn't an officially sanctioned.
I'd imagine Epic probably didn't have much to do with this. Yeah,
no, probably not. I'm always fascinated when these things happen. Just like you say, do they know it's a total fuck up or a scam or whatever, or do they genuinely think it's good? Or
they must have. James, please read the quotes at the end.
You see, they were offering refunds. You see, on their Facebook page, but then that's no longer accessible apparently. So that's probably not very good. But I mean, some of the quotes are quite funny. I mean, we got it was like an episode of Father Ted when the fair comes to Craggy Island. Then we had Fortnite is all about hunting people down and killing them. I felt like doing that to the people who organised it. It's just.
I mean, it's it's all very well and good laughing about it, but our kids are going to get to the age where they start demanding to go to things like this, right?
I know, it'll be brilliant.
To be fair, I would be furious.
That's the thing. I don't think I would be furious because I'd just be laughing too much. Because I've been, I've been to bad things.
20, no, 40 quid for each, 20 quid per kid. It's no way.
Yeah, I know, but you'd be stupid to do that, wouldn't you? It's
have you guys ever been to anything like you've been to an event and it's just been absolute shit?
I've been to loads of really rubbish things. It's and sometimes it's really funny because you can get a laugh out of how bad things are. Sometimes which you paid money for, and it's terrible. But I went to, obviously I feel sorry for the people, but this is also really funny. I mean, just.
It's the fact there's a big slide. Why is there a big slide? What's that got to do with? There was a big
slide, yeah.
Well, from slidey slopes in Fortnite, that famous area of the map.
And you got that trailer with the tarpaulin over it, and then it's got it's got a sign saying "Cave Experience, wristband or 3 tokens." It's
it sounds so.
God, it's fucked, isn't it?
But they've also got if you look at one of the pictures, they've got where I think the refreshments are, and it looks like something from the Scouts or something. Where they've got tea urns and things like that on the side.
But they've got that little donkey, the little pinata donkey. That's from Fortnite, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, the only one of these I've been to, LED. Well, I mean, it's mostly us, but we took a to In the Night Garden Live. But that was fine.
Oh, we've been to that. That was all right.
They had 6 go-karts, so that wasn't an issue.
Oh, well, there you go.
It was fine, yeah. I got to meet Upsy Daisy, so I was a bit starstruck. But
to go
that was pretty big. I mean, it was like 20 quid for a photo, but we're like, fuck it, we're only here once. Lovely old day out, that was.
Amazing.
Yeah. Okay, and that's it. That's the last of the news.
Cool. Right, what have we been playing? We've all played the same things.
We've all been playing lots of the same things, which is great.
Right, let's just go in on Tetris 99, shall we? Because I think we're all very excited to talk about it. So, I think just what gets me is that, so they're like, it's Tetris and it's Battle Royale, and and you can see in what they showed, it's like, okay, so you're playing Tetris, but occasionally players are like, as you clear lines, you're sort of sending them to other people. And I think if that was basically it, and it was just completely random, that probably would have been enough. And
that's kind of what it was, wasn't it, in the first couple of hours?
Well, initially, the good old days, the halcyon days of you could just play a half decent game of Tetris and do all right. And then it turned out there was loads more stuff going on, and it is actually a really smart Battle Royale game, and it's all about as you do well, you sort of increase in power, and then it's all about picking off people who are doing well and essentially taking their stuff. It's just absolutely fascinating. So if you haven't played it, it's Tetris. You play a game of Tetris and you drop the blocks and you clear the lines, and it's all very good. But there's 98 other people playing, and as you clear lines, it sends them to other people to sort of disrupt them, and equally people can send their cleared lines to you. But the trick is you choose where those lines go, and you can either specifically choose people. I don't think anyone really does that. Actually, they probably do.
Yeah, because you can do that with the left stick, can't you? But that feels like you've got a lot of multitasking to be able to play the game and move your left stick over to a specific. Is it board or table? What's the terminology?
Arena. I don't know. What is the play space in a game of Tetris? I've no idea. Where it gets really smart is you can also, just with the right stick, you can either set it to attack just random people or people who are attacking you, or you can set it to go for knockout. So I presume it targets people who are doing badly, and then it tries to finish them off.
Yeah.
Or you can go for badges, and for a long time everyone's like, I don't know what the badges are. Don't really know what that's about. But basically, as you get knockouts, you earn these badges, and then the more badges you've got, whenever you clear lines, it sends more blocks to other people. So it's essentially this escalation method where not only as the game goes on, you starts getting whittled down to the best players, but also they're capable of doing much worse things to you because they've started accruing badges. But then if you knock out someone who's got badges, you take all their badges. And it's absolutely fascinating, how it sort of mirrors a typical sort of Battle Royale style game where it's usually it's about collecting gear or sort of maybe keeping your head down for the first bit, but then as things get a bit tighter, you've really got to start stepping up, and the way it kind of does all that.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely genius in that regard.
Yeah.
Because in many ways, the badges feel like if you have in PUBG, the difference between a level 1 and level 3 helmet, you've got there isn't I've got a helmet, I'm fine. If you haven't got this, then you're going to get done in the end game.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so fucking clever. I can't believe that 2 years on the trot, Tetris has been a Game of the Year.
I know. I was thinking that. Obviously last year, Tetris Effect. Loads of people said, "Okay, get Game of the Year," like Giant Bomb. Others as well. Maybe Eurogamer as well. I don't know. Who knows? I've got loads of publications love Tetris Effect. I can see those same people saying, "Yeah, this year it's happening again," which is bonkers.
I mean, what's incredible about it though is the fact that it's got so much more brutal now as people have figured out the game mechanics and everything.
It really has.
But it's still totally possible to sort of get into it. You just obviously you have to learn quickly, but you can still sort of hold your own. I mean, I still haven't won a game. I mean, the closest I've got is 5th. I can't get any closer than that at the moment.
I got to 5th in my third go, and obviously at that point I didn't have any idea about badges. So clearly I was one of the people who had 0 KOs, 0 badges, and they were and someone wiped me out instantly. I've just looked at my stats now. I played 87 games, no win. I'm really bad at
That's
it.
more than I've played so far. Yeah.
And the thing is, and as you say, because it's got so much harder now, like that win is so much further out of reach than it was at the beginning.
Yeah, but then also the fact that most games don't take that long, like to get, even if you're getting down to the top 10, they don't take that long, and it's still got that. I'm gonna have another go at this. You know, I can
definitely, yeah. Over the weekend, I'm like, okay, look, this is the last one. I better do something else. I'm like, well, no, because I ended 60th then, so I'll quickly do another one because I don't want to. You know, if I get in the top like 30 or 40, then I'll stop. And then, it's really addictive in that regard.
And it's interesting in that. So obviously, a lot of people are comparing this to Tetris Effect and sort of like, you know, obviously this is a lot more stripped down, but it's sort of better. But I mean, that's kind of unfair, I think, because
I think.
Go on, sorry.
As a Tetris, okay, this I'm trying to think because I've not really thought about this yet, so this is going to come out.
Do you want me to carry on and Okay.
Actually, you carry on.
No, I want to hear your live thoughts. Just go for it.
I was just going to say, like, I think it's unfair to say this is better because I think if it wasn't for Tetris Effect, I don't think I would have had much time for this. Like, because Tetris Effect like really showed me that I actually really like Tetris rather than just knowing it's an all-time classic.
I can't see that. Like, that can't be the case, Sean. Like, but I don't. I mean, I can. Part of me can see with me. You know, like, Tetris Effect. You know, brought Tetris back in a way that no one expected. Now, like another Tetris game, well, that will be like Tetris Effect. But this game is just absolutely pure class. I think even without that, this would have come out from nowhere, and like everyone would still be absolutely loving it. But I mean, but maybe
you're probably
Tetris
right. I think I personally
bit,
wouldn't have any appetite for getting better at it if it wasn't for Tetris Effect. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
I think I would just like if I hadn't played Tetris Effect and like gotten okay at Tetris, I think I would have just played 2 games of this and been like, oh well, there's no point, I'm shit at Tetris, so fuck it. Whereas Tetris Effect sort of opened that door to like, no, here's how you get good at it.
But Tetris Effect is so much simpler. I felt way better at Tetris Effect than I do at this. I feel I'm so bad at this. There's so much going on.
Yeah, but that's because Tetris Effect to me feels more like it's an experience. It's not. This is a competitive game, like by comparison.
Yeah,
whereas
I did get into like score battles with mates and stuff on Tetris Effect. That was pretty good fun.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
But it's all about like it's the music and I mean in VR in particular, it's like the feeling that you get from it and all of that.
I do wish Tetris 99 had more than one song. Classic though it is. But yeah.
But it is excellent. I mean,
it is.
I mean, I'm determined I'm going to get a number 1 at some point. It's just I
was really hoping I'd get one before the pod, but it's
I'm
brilliant.
glad you didn't, Matt, because I'm going to be disappointed if you get one before me. I'm sorry, but
I don't see that happening. I do not see that happening. I mean, I didn't play until like Saturday or whenever it was, and like I heard like obviously, Dave and obviously everyone on Twitter is just going on about this game non-stop, and I just hadn't played it. Although I didn't have a Nintendo Switch Online, and then I had to sign up for this game. And I haven't got number 1 yet. I was hoping to. I don't know. I mean, it feels like it's getting tougher. But I guess I'm understanding the mechanics more. I'm understanding a little bit more like when to switch, who I'm targeting, and if I'm getting targeted loads, I'll switch to target the people that are attacking me. Generally, unless that happens, I'll just keep it on randoms and then switch to KOs to get some badges. But there's so much happening. And I mean. I guess I'm right now. I'm just trying to get better at playing actual Tetris and making sure you hit 2s instead of 1s. Because if you get single lines, they don't go to other people. That's correct.
That's right. Yeah.
So you got to get a minimum of 2, and so I don't know. I'm just going to concentrate on playing a good game of Tetris and then see where I get to. And if I get towards the end, then great. And then maybe I can potentially change things up by changing who I target. But other than that, like, what else can I be doing really to get better at the game other than just being better at Tetris?
I found it's all about just always being ready to drop a 4, like at any moment. Like at any moment you need to, like either to block one that's coming in or just because you want to like attack or something like that. It's like you're just building all the time for just trying to get Tetris.
I'm constantly trying to set myself up for to have that, but then like the right piece doesn't appear, and I'm like, oh, I'm absolutely fucked. And then someone randomly drop 2 or 3 lines. I'm like, oh god, now I need a different shape, and I'm like, because when someone drops some junk or whatever over to your screen, it flashes red at the beginning, and in those you can then any lines you remove, it just basically takes them off your screen or reduces that number.
It cancels it out.
So then suddenly when I see like flashing red or whatever the colour is that they get when they get sent to your screen, I'm like just panicking and just getting anything, and then I know like single lines might reduce that and maybe calm me down a bit, but I know single lines aren't doing anything to actually defeat other opponents, and it gets so intense.
It's just firefighting that, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Stop that from happening, and then but it is better if you can try and plan it ahead with just trying to get falls all the time is what I've been trying to do, but it doesn't always work.
What's the highest you've got, Sean? Have you won one?
Like I can't remember, like 23rd or something.
Yeah, it is a tougher game. I can't also really see myself. I mean, I right now in like so I've played like the third game I got fifth, and then since then I've been like trying to catch back up to that, and I've played like 80 plus games since, and I understand the mechanics more, but I can't really say I'm actually genuinely improving. But I guess I've just got to keep playing more and pushing on.
The other thing I'm wondering about with this is to what extent is there like matchmaking of like putting you in groups with other people that are similar levels? Because
I'm not
you do level up, obviously.
I'm sort of I sort of wish I sort of want to delete my account and start again, so I'm not level 17 or whatever. Playing with level 17 people who've probably won loads, and I'm going to be at the highest ever like level 50 person who has never actually won the game. That's what I'm worried about.
Okay, so I found my stats. So I made it to 12th once, which is all right. But then, like, max combo 5. That's not brilliant. I've only managed one T-spin. It recognises T-spins, which I was quite happy about. But then there's So it's got T-spins, and then T-spin minis, T-spin singles, T-spin doubles, triples. What's a back-to-back? Fuck's that. I don't know what any of this even means.
Is that like when you do 2 Tetris in a row? Like,
maybe,
4 and then a 4.
I've done 6 of those, apparently. Yeah. So, yeah.
But yeah, it is an absolutely fantastic game that's come from absolutely nowhere. That when it was announced, like, Battle Royale Tetris, like, and I think I said on maybe the stream or privately, I'm like, if for one of our E3s where someone avoids the news, and then the other ones and the rest of them say, so Nintendo release Tetris Battle Royale, you're like, oh,
shut up. Do you know, Matt? I think we may even have discussed that when you were on it, a couple of years ago, like an option
in the last couple of years. So it came up of nowhere, and like, it's amazing fun. It's just so good.
I mean, and the other thing is, does this open the door for like Nintendo just dropping other games? It's like, it's part of your Nintendo Online sub.
Well, that's the hope, isn't it?
Because that would be all right if it wasn't just fucking NES games, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like I wasn't a member up until now, and I had like no interest because. I mean, the only game I was playing online was Fortnite, and that you can play it without Nintendo Switch Online membership or subscription. I had no interest in it. I was like, I don't have an interest in old NES games. Maybe when SNES come on, maybe that would have pushed me, but I saw this and I thought, okay, I'm going to do it, and now I'm a member. And I bet there were thousands, tons of people just like me who maybe weren't bothered, but now this has come out and everyone's talking about it. Yeah, they've probably done well in like extra memberships for sure.
I mean, if you're listening to this and you're in the same boat as Matt, but you still haven't signed up, have a word with your mates and get a family account, and then just all split it between you. You end up paying about £3.
Yeah, I've actually only done the 7-day free trial, so I should do the family thing as well.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah,
because you don't have to like add everyone immediately. Like if you just buy yourself a family account, it's like £15 or something, or maybe a bit more than that. But and then you can just add people sort of as and when, and then just split it when you figured out how many people are joining you.
How many people can you have on a family account?
I think I have like 5.
Because Matt, you could probably join mine, maybe, because I've got a family one already.
Okay, so there you go. I'll drop you a couple of shillings. Yeah, because it's not much, is it? Anyway, but I'd love to join the JCA Farley family.
Yeah,
let me know what the bunts is. And
it is legally binding, just so you know.
Yeah, but I mean, when I joined up, it was pretty cool getting an app, and like I saw all these games. I was like, actually, maybe I will play some of these. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean,
some of them are good.
I've never been a huge NES fan, and there is a lot of shit on there. But then there's Mario Brothers 3 and Excite Bike and a few others that are actually
I had a lot of fun with Ice Climbers.
Oh yeah.
I once I signed up and downloaded Tetris, I of course downloaded the phone app. I'm very excited to be using that on all my Nintendo Switch Online games.
That's actually what we're going to start recording the podcast with it. I think.
Still can't believe I logged in. I was like, I'll download it, and it's like, okay, it's still Splatoon 2. There you go.
Yeah.
How?
See, the thing is like, I mean, this works so well because it plays to Nintendo Online's like strengths, which is the fact that you don't have to talk to anyone, which makes it a lot easier. And I mean, this is why I was really pleased that it wasn't like another Four Swords Adventure or something like that they're releasing, because that, you see, whilst that is a very good game, it only works if you're playing with people like that and that you're sort of you can talk with. Because I mean, I played it on 3DS online like a couple of times, and it was so frustrating because if you're just playing with random people, like you get close to the end of a dungeon or whatever, and then somebody will just wander off or just start griefing you or whatever, and it's just like, this is just irritating. And so this is perfect. You don't
imagine if Tetris 99 had voice chat and you just joined it, and it was 99 people screaming over each other.
Yeah. But it would be. No, I was going to say it would be pretty cool if like had 100 voices down to like last like 5 or 6, but no one's going to be talking, are they? Yeah, when it gets to last like 20 or 15, no one's going to be like, "Hey, you twat." Oh, no.
Game of the year, Tetris 99. Well done.
Almost certainly. Well, earlier you mentioned about the other modes. What are these other modes that might have been data mined or found?
Well, it's not that. It's just has it been data mined? I just noticed on the stats screen, obviously, like there's like a main stats page, and then there's a separate tab for 99 mode, which suggests that there will be other tabs.
No, it has been data mined.
Okay,
there was I think from memory, one of them was like marathon mode, so that's just like basically just classic Tetris, and I think that there was maybe a competitive like versus mode as well, but I can't remember. And cool. But that'd be good.
Yeah. Because the one I was playing most on Tetris Effect was was it called like Sprint or something, where it's basically like clear like 50 lines as quickly as you can, and that was a lot of fun. But so if they added that, I'd be buzzing.
But it's just crazy. In 2 years, we've had these 2 stunning Tetris games. It makes me think: is Tetris the best game of all time?
It's one of them.
I mean, people have been saying that for a while, haven't they?
And
again, it's one of those things that you just like. Yeah, you're sort of like, well, I know it's a classic, but I'm not, is it particularly interesting or relevant now? Yes, it is. It turns out with a few minor tweaks.
It's like, it's just such a genius, like, game and like the basics of it. It's like, but that can be slightly adapted, as you just said. You know, include VR or some, synesthesia or some crazy visuals and this, that, and the other, and then or add battle royale. I was like, there's surely they were like the greatest games of all time, which I never would have ever considered it. And obviously, it's a classic, but it's like, God, there's just 2 stunning games come out, and I'm sure there's been others. Like, is it what's that one? Puyo Tetris?
Puyo Puyo.
I mean, there's
Puyo.
It's like, it's just amazing what people do.
That's on sale as well. That's like £20 or something at the moment.
Yeah,
it's good. I mean, I've got that, but. It's just the pure stuff. I don't enjoy that at all, and the Tetris stuff's the only thing that's not really.
Yeah.
But total surprise, and I'm going to keep playing it until we get that win.
Yeah. Right. What else have we all played? Daemon X Machina. James, have you not played this?
I've not played it. No.
I did, Sean. I downloaded it and played it for you because I knew you'd be talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, because
I was going to say, because you presume you've never played an Armored Core game, right?
No, I never really played a mech game. I played a bit of like Mech Warrior on a PC a million years ago. I think that's probably... And Virtual On. Virtual On was the game I probably played most of, but mech-wise. No, but I downloaded it because I knew you were excited and I thought it'd be good to talk about. But what do you think about it?
So I really like it because it is basically an Armored Core game. With a few... It feels a bit different, but then I suppose it should. I wouldn't necessarily just want a straight rip-off. In terms of the controls, like in Armored Core, you had your boost, but then there was also like a dash, so that you could really quickly dart around. The dash seems to be gone. There is a boost.
Even as a non-mech game person, I'm like, this felt really slow, and even like just quickly darting around the place. Like, am I supposed to be boosting and something else? It didn't feel very quick and responsive as like someone who hasn't played that game at all, or that Sean. I'm like, I want it to be much quicker, much more up and down, left and right, and boost here and there. But it felt a bit laborious in that regard, a bit slow. Don't know.
I know what you mean. It's obviously it's always a weird thing with mech games because obviously a lot of the time you want them to feel sort of quite heavy and deliberate, but then if you're just zipping around constantly, like completely, like just sort of zipping around like lightning quick all the time, then it's sort of like, well, why am I in a big robot then?
Yeah, I can see that. I guess you wouldn't feel like you're in a big machine then, would you?
Yeah, but then similarly, yeah, there are games where actually they just go too far the other way, and it's like, well, actually, this is just quite frustrating to control. I thought this was okay. I did miss that dash move. Learning to sort of, like, the way the jump works is like you don't just tap it, you have to like press and hold it, and it sort of charges, and then you release it, and then you press it again to fly. That sort of took a bit of getting used to. But no, like in terms of the general combat and stuff, I did end up really enjoying it. I mean, the demo's not particularly difficult. You can pretty much just equip whatever and just hold the fire buttons and blast away at stuff. And like it doesn't get into... It seems to have the targeting system from Armored Core where you have like different CPUs that have like different styles of targeting. So like some will lock on quicker, some have more range, some are better at like tracking moving targets. So depending on like the sort of weapons you've got and the sort of enemies you're facing, there's like different targeting styles are really useful. It seems to have that stuff, but again, it's not particularly relevant in the demo because everything's pretty slow and it's not really a big deal. That was my only other concern, was that it looks like you just have the one like mech that you customize. You can do whatever you want to it, but you only ever have one. Whereas the thing with Armored Core is that like by the time you're halfway through the game, you'll have like 6 or 7 like different schematics for like different styles of combat or different types of missions that you'd like switch between. So the fact that in this it seems you can pretty much get away with just having one suggests there's maybe not as much.
Is that the case?
To the customization,
just a demo?
I don't know.
Because obviously in a demo you can I didn't, but you can spend time creating your character, like the actual the human inside the mechs. You can spend loads of time modifying that loads, and then it's like, and I just went for basic. But I assumed because there's such a level of customization and modification to that human player, I just thought, okay, you can do that, and so you spend loads of time modifying yourself, but that also means okay that actually you're the main thing, and it's like you in different mechs. For some reason, I just because there's more impetus on the human person. I thought, well, customize him loads or hit him or her loads, and that must mean actually it's just you in various things because you're the main character rather than the mechs.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, that stuff with customizing your avatar is really interesting because you, as you say, you get different abilities for the pilot, which some of which make him a better pilot, but also in the full game there are situations where you are on foot as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at the abilities, like some of them only relate to like stuff you do on foot. So you sort of, as you're customizing your character, you're sort of looking at like getting a balance between, well, I want him to be better at being in a mech, but also don't want him to be totally shit on foot. But as far as I'm aware, the on foot stuff just isn't in the demo. Yeah, which is sort of a shame. But yeah, broadly speaking, it feels like a new Armored Core game, and I've wanted one of them for a long time.
So you're quite excited then?
Yeah, like the sort of a lot of the missions were quite mundane, but the boss fight at the end was really good fun. Have you done that one?
No, I just did like the first 1 or 2 training bits, and then I went back to Tetris, admittly. The one of the issues I had was that it was like it felt like it wasn't that easy to find all the enemies in even the first training bit. I was looking around the map, but then like you had to really go near them, and like at one point they're like 2 enemies left. And I was like, where? I mean, I was like scanning around, but it wasn't like flashing anywhere. And I was looking at the map, and I was like, do I have to go much further down to see these things? And obviously, graphically, it's not stunning because I was just playing handheld, admittedly. Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't blown away by that, but that was probably just me being dumb. But
I like the art style, but yeah, I know what you mean. And the frame rate's nothing great either.
No. Did you play docked or just handheld?
A bit of both. It's definitely better docked.
Okay, right. I just played handheld, but
I think just playing handheld is not always easy to see what is going on. No, I would persevere until that final boss fight though, because that is really good fun. Because it's just like good boss design. It's finding weak points, exploiting them. Sort of figuring out like the sort of shape and range of certain attacks that the boss is going to throw at you, and sort of figuring out where to be, and that's all like pretty good fun.
I was playing it, but at that point I was like, I just want to be playing Tetris, really. I had to break off to play it because I really want to get it done before tonight. But
so I mean, it's been interesting. Like yeah, so I loved it because it is like a new Armored Core game, but I gather like the Armored Core community is a bit like it's not the same, not really keen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
you're thinking of it all over a new mech game. But...
Yeah, you think? Maybe I'm just not assessing it honestly because I'm just happy that there is a new one. I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, I don't even care. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I started and you can go back through like the older missions and like pick up more like mech parts from your enemies and stuff, which is pretty cool. Just sort of figuring out like what you can do with the customization and stuff. Like, again, in the demo, it's pretty basic, but it looks like all your different limbs and stuff all have different abilities and what have you. And yeah, so I'm excited, but I was always going to be. I think I'm just like blind on this occasion.
Yeah, well, but it's good you did like it rather than being hyped for it and then play a demo. And actually, it's a massive disappointment.
Yeah, totally. Another thing
there was
I think
Yoshi's?
we've all played. Yes,
another
Yoshi's
demo?
Crafted World demo. Yeah. So it's only one level.
Yeah,
but
it's quite short, isn't it?
It is quite short, but I was quite impressed with how much they rinse out of it. Like if there's this much to every level in the game, that's huge, right?
Well, there should be. I mean, did you play Woolly World, Matt? Sean?
I played a fair bit of it. I never finished it though.
Because that was very detailed as well, which was one of the great things about it. I mean, I remember me and Dave played that, and it was like we were texting each other while we were playing it, and it got to the point where it's just like I was saying, this is one of the best like platformers ever. This is so good, and I think this looks maybe similar. Yeah.
So the hook with this one is that rather than everything being made of wool, it's like everything's just sort of made out of like
it's like paper craft, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. And when you do a level once, you finish it, and that's great. And then you can do it again, but like literally, the perspective is just flipped round, so you're looking at the back of everything. But that sort of reveals new stuff and gives you different things to do.
That was that in the demo?
Yeah.
And so I went through it and I 100%ed it, and I did the challenge as well to find the cows. Yeah, but can I play it again mirrored? Is that what's the deal?
No, the second time through, it's all flipped round before you do the cows.
Did not clock that. I just went through and I was still. I was just basically trying to 100% everything at that point. So
yeah, okay. But yeah, and then once you've done the reverse version of it, it gives you this objective to play through it again, but spot like there's all these like cows in the distance, and you lob eggs at them, and you find 5 of those, and you get like an extra thing. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it really suits the whole, the general like Yoshi's Island thing of like pretty much anyone will be able to finish it, but there's all this other shit tucked away if you want to bother looking for it.
Hey, did these games get hard?
Yeah, I think so.
They do, yeah. They're not. I mean, they're not difficult in the sense because you can also play them like in like sort of mellow modes and stuff like that, so it makes it a lot easier. But I mean, I wouldn't say that they're like Mario challenging, but they are not bad.
Yeah, because I played a demo, and like I said, I didn't stop until I'd like got 100% everything, got all the sunflowers and like the red coins or the red whatever they are and stuff. But obviously it wasn't difficult. But if like that challenge amps up, then that'll be interesting. I will say one thing. I was like, I know it's just a limitation of the Switch, but I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I'd love to see this in like really good graphics. Because it's
did you not
really
think it looked
blurry.
good? I thought. Do you reckon?
I mean, again, I played handheld. Maybe it's different on dock. Okay. But
it looked great. I played it on TV.
I just like it just felt really blurry. I was like, I wish I could see all this amazing art and like it's totally crisp. And I'm not saying 4 has to be 4K, but like just better than it was. It felt quite blurry, and I was like, I bet this look amazing. On a more powerful console, which I'm sure is easy to say for every game, really, but. I feel like that sort of let it down because I wanted to see all the amazing art, but loads of it felt quite blurry, almost like tilt shift at points. I was like, is this supposed to be the vibe? And I don't know.
There's like a really heavy use of like depth of field in certain places.
But it was a fun little game, a fun little demo, but I would definitely want to know that there is much more challenge in the main game because it was fun as a demo. But if the whole game's like that, I don't.
Matt, it's not. Yeah, but these games are not about the challenge. They're about. Not really. It's also about exploration and just like finding secrets and stuff.
Is this
like
game
that.
going to like
really
surprise me and Nick Simon impress me with like clever ideas and use of what?
Yes.
Okay, because
totally.
I haven't said that. I mean, even like the video once you finish the demo, even the videos are okay. This has got some clever things it's going to do. Because I guess I'd want that. But I played the demo and I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like I've got to get this. But
I mean, if you want to play like a challenging like 2D platformer, then play New Super Mario Bros. U. I mean, that's super challenging. It's really good, but that's much harder.
So is this something you two are definitely going to get out and go out and get when it comes out?
Yeah, I think it's out like the week before my birthday, so that's happening.
I think it's out around Ash's birthday, so yeah.
So when is that?
It's like the 20-something of March, right?
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So,
right, it's only a month away. It's not far then.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Cool.
Right. I think that's all the shared stuff.
Apart from Crackdown.
Oh, God, yeah, Crackdown. Jesus. Do you guys want to lead on this? I've played a little bit of it, but I think you've put a lot more time in, so...
Yeah, we played it last night as well, didn't we, Matt?
Yeah, we played some co-op as well as each playing single-player stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've got really mixed feelings about this game. Because, I mean, the thing is for the first 2 hours of this, I was really not liking it at all and not having fun at all with it. Because particularly I found like the movement was really twitchy, the climbing was like really imprecise, and I know that the whole point with it is that you're supposed to like upgrade the character with like finding agility orbs and stuff like that, but the counterpoint to that was that when I played Spider-Man, that was amazing from the beginning, like the movement, like that was just, it didn't matter how much you'd upgraded the character, it was still fun to like just swing around the level and stuff. This didn't start to feel fun until I started to get more agility orbs and stuff. And I also found the game to be like a visual mess at the beginning. It's like, because it's like nighttime and it's just like, there's just things happening all over the place. You haven't got a clue where you're being shot from. It's just like neon lights everywhere, and it just looks, I mean, it looks like an upscaled like 360 game, which is, that doesn't help either. And also the AI isn't great. I mean, it's just, just mowing everything down. It's just
non-existent, really, isn't it?
It is. And it's just, I mean, it just feels like so dated. Like, I mean, it does feel like a sequel to the original Crackdown, which came out in like, 2007? And it feels like this could have come out about 2 years later or whatever. I mean, it doesn't feel like anything like it. There doesn't feel like any sort of evolution in this at all from what there was before. But then the thing is, as I discovered the more I played it, that doesn't really matter so much because it is still really fun to play. It's still, once I picked up like rockets and stuff like that and started blowing stuff up and, doing all that kind of stuff, it started to get more agility orbs so I could sort of really swing around the map. Then it became more fun and sort of more interesting. But I still feel kind of disappointed in it, in the sense, and the reason I feel disappointed in it is because although this is a fun game and it's obviously like a sort of 6 or 7 out of 10 kind of game, I still think that we should have expected more from this.
But that's absolute bollocks, James. I'm sorry.
What, Matt? Don't be stupid. Look, think about this, right? Think about it. Why? Okay, how long was Spider-Man in development?
You can't compare this game to... Okay.
Why? It's a first-party game. This is a first-party game. This has also had loads of money thrown at it.
A game of like... Why? This had a really incredibly... Okay. But the first Crackdown wasn't a AAA game, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Right, and then the second one was a massive disappointment. This third one's had like really troubled development. This was never going to be like another. It's never going to be a God of War or Last of Us or Spider-Man.
Why not, though, Matt? Why not?
Because this
was
not
announced.
A game.
No. Rubbish. This was announced by Microsoft when the Xbox One first came out as being one of their big things. Like they announced it as being like, and we've got another Crackdown because the fans love that, and we've got all this cloud destruction stuff, and this is going to be leading to show like the technology of our platform and all that kind of thing. This was not released as being like, oh, this is just like a crappy like B game or whatever. That wasn't the intention from the beginning.
It was definitely bigged up as like, this is a major exclusive.
It was bigged up, but you can't. This isn't. It's never going to be in the same bracket as The Last of Us or God of War.
No, but it could have been like a Spider-Man or whatever. Like, why are you... I don't understand why you want to accept mediocrity. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, why you just think...
it's very, very... I think it's just very harsh to, like, judge this. A sequel... I mean, okay, Crackdown 2 happened, but no one wants to admit it. But, like, the first Crackdown came out of nowhere, really, pretty much. And, like, loads of people loved it. But it was never, like, 50, 60 million like copies.
No, it's the way they've.
This isn't a AAA game. This isn't like a massive, ridiculous studio of like hundreds of millions in like budget. This is just like another Crackdown game.
But that is sort of how they've put it across, though, as like a major like first party exclusive.
You shouldn't like expect like just think, oh, it's not going to be any good.
I fully expected it to be 6s and 7s, and that's exactly what's going on. No way in hell would I ever expect this to be like I mean, maybe some hardcore publications might give it an 8, but I mean like hardcore sort of Xbox publications. But like, this was never going to be a 9 or 10. It was just never going to do that. It's just going to be a sequel.
Why? Yeah, but why wouldn't you want it to be that? I mean, like, why would you just settle for it being like it's fine?
You can't compare this to Spider-Man. I mean, I think that's really
Why shouldn't you?
How long did Spider-Man have in development?
I don't know, but it's Insomniac. It's a totally different kind of thing. This had a troubled development. Imagine what troubled development games do you think?
That's not a thing, though, is it? It's just. Oh, I don't understand why you think it's fine for something to be just totally average, and like for like a company like Microsoft to big this up as being like this is one of their major releases of the year. Like, it really is. There's nothing much else coming out this year, and then you're just like,
that's true,
it's
and
fine,
that's massively worrying.
I mean, that's just it, isn't it? Like, if this was sat in like a pantheon of brilliant, like, 10 out of 10 exclusives, then you'd be like, it's a bit scrappy. It's not quite, it's not the same appeal as all the other stuff. But like, this is it.
But that's not the game's fault, is it? That's just like, okay, other things didn't happen, and now we just got the game. This game would have been the same, regardless of whether it's in a sea of other great games or now
this
on its own.
Bigged up as
I know what you
thing.
mean, but I think, given the focus that Microsoft had put on it, I'm surprised.
It was bigged up, right, because they've got nothing else, so they had to big it up. But I don't think. I mean, like, obviously we were playing co-op, and we were saying, like, obviously, the traversal of the environment is nothing as good as Spider-Man. Spider-Man, for me, and I think you agree as well, James, is like, that is the gold standard for open world traversal in games. It just feels, I mean, that's why I spend more time doing collectibles. It just feels amazing to swing around the city I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of combat, but everything just feels so good, so smooth, so well implemented. This doesn't do that, but I think it's very harsh to compare the two games.
I don't think it is, because I think both of these are superhero, like, what's it called, like free roaming games, basically. Mm-hmm. Both of them have had like a quite a long time in development.
This isn't a AAA game.
Just listen to me finish. Both of them have been given resources and everything to get to be finished and everything.
Well, what does that mean? Explain that sentence.
Both of these are first party games. Both of these are first party games.
Given resources means in this argument.
Well, yeah, because both of them have been given first-party, sort of support, especially through marketing and everything as well.
Okay.
And through the development process, Microsoft could throw whatever they wanted at this, and I don't see why you shouldn't be expecting that this should at least have moved the needle a bit from the first game. Like, I don't know why you don't feel that that's a problem, like, at all, because I think it is. I mean, as I said, I did enjoy I'm enjoying what we're playing at this. I do. It's a fun game, but I am also disappointed that they haven't moved it on at all. Like, I think there's no evolution at all here.
So far, I'm basically in the same boat. Like, I am totally enjoying it, but I am surprised how little it's moved on from the first one, or even or the second. It is fun, but that's like despite a lot of things, I think.
But, I mean, okay, but did you neither of you two played the second one, did you?
I played a bit of it, and the zombies and stuff threw me off.
I didn't have a 360 when the first one came out, and I know you, James, and like Dave, and loads of other people loved it. I didn't play the first one because I didn't have a 360 at the time. When I had my 360, the second one came out. I know no one was interested, but I was like, I'll get that because people love the first one, and I played through the whole lot, and it wasn't a great game, but fundamentally, the feeling of collecting those orbs and stuff was enough to compel me to finish the game. But when they said, okay, here's the third one, you knew for a fact that they were like, okay, the second one didn't happen. We're going to hark back to the first one. So I did not expect massive evolutions or any evolutions. I just thought they would do, let's try and bring what the first one did so well and do that again. Maybe with some cloud stuff, maybe without.
Imagine if you felt like that about other games that came out. If you're just like, it's like, oh, there's a new Mario game coming out. I'm not expecting that they're going to do anything new with it. That they're just going to re-release, the first game again, and it'll just look a bit different. The first game
it's a simplistic game where you run around, like jump around, collect orbs, and like there was maybe some semblance of a story. Like this is not a AAA. It's a AA game. And it might have been bigged up.
I don't agree with you there, Matt.
Let me finish, James. Let me finish.
Know.
Like Microsoft had
we
to big
don't know
up
how much money's gone into this.
Let me finish. They had nothing else to big up, right? And this was part of their very, very small set of like console exclusives. It's had a ridiculously troubled, like development, like cloud this, no clouds, and then clouds back, and I mean maybe cloud was always there, but whatever. Like this was never going to be anything more than a AA. Hopefully fun, hopefully not dog shit game. I was hoping it'd be good. I mean, like I think I said a few weeks ago. Imagine this game gets 9s and 10s. It'd be amazing after all the troubled development. It hasn't got that.
That'd be really good.
It hasn't got that, but it has got exactly the scores that I thought. And when I saw the scores, I haven't actually read the reviews, admittedly, but when I saw the scores, 6s and 7s, I was like, I know that's going to be a flawed gem. It'll be a fun game to play over a weekend or 2 or 3 or whatever. You'll collect the orbs, you'll have a great time. And it's not dreadful. It's not freeze, it's falls, it's not avoids. No one's saying do not play this game. It's exactly where I thought it would be. And I'm having an absolute blast playing this game, which I'm having an absolute blast playing it.
That's fine.
I see what you're saying. As like one of the only prominent exclusives that Microsoft have this year, I am surprised there's just not a bit more to it and a bit more polish and a bit,
But, I mean, at what point when they were making this did they just think, just forget it, we'll just re-release the first game? Like, I mean, how did that happen?
I mean, it's really telling that the what's it called? Wrecking Zone is like a separate app completely to the
crazy.
Campaign. Yeah,
so I reckon it's like download go to stores. What do you mean go to stores? Like, because actually, I must have downloaded the campaign or queued up on Game Pass or something ages ago, or when it first got announced, or when it was available on Game Pass. Because on my system, I had like Crackdown 3 campaign downloaded. I was like, this is pretty cool. And then when the game came out, I was like, sorry, do I re-download it? And it just says like 110 meg patched essentially, and it unlocked it, or patched or whatever it did. And then I was like, okay, that's weird, but it is what it is. And then when I went to play Wrecking Zone yesterday to try it out, it's like, oh, you go to store to download the separate game, the separate 5 gig downloadable game. It's just that's very strange. That is.
It seems fairly obvious that that Wrecking Zone is like that was the original game that was being worked on, and then I think Sumo basically came in and did the campaign from scratch.
Yeah.
Because the campaign itself, I mean, I haven't finished it, but I listened to podcasts over the weekend, and they're like, you can get through it in like 5 to 6 hours if you just mainline the bosses.
Really?
So it's not a huge game by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. You see, as I'm trying to explain it, this is not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm enjoying playing it. I just wish that there was more to it, and I just wish that it could have been more than it is. And because the thing is, I mean, if you look at Game Pass as like a service, it's a brilliant idea, and it's a brilliant it's it looks kind of good and all that kind of thing. But I was looking through like what's on there, and if you look at the first party stuff, there's a lot of really mediocre stuff on there. Yeah. That's like it's not. There's nothing there that makes you just think this is like really, really worth having. Well, okay, Forza Horizon's probably the standout, but you've also got stuff like Super Lucky's Tale and stuff like that they were trying to pimp as being like a big thing as well. And it's just, I mean, I played it. It's not very good.
They were trying to pimp as a big thing, were they? That was just one of their games on their AE3 presentation. They weren't like, this is the next. They weren't trying to massively blow it out. They weren't trying to advertise it.
No, they weren't. They weren't saying they weren't saying it was going to be as big as Crackdown 3 is. But they said more than that. They had like all those like trailers for it and everything.
What do you mean all those trailers?
A big deal.
They had trailers for it.
What do you? Oh, don't be stupid, Max. Come on.
I don't think you're saying that they were advertising this on in fucking Times Square. It was just another game.
I never said that.
Okay, you did say it. Yes,
it's weird. Like the whole Game Pass thing. Like as you say, like Forza Horizon 4 is huge and brilliant. But like between like Crackdown 3 and like Sea of Thieves, you've got two sort of quite fun but basically mediocre games that but everyone's played them because they're free, but essentially, and everyone's like, well, fuck it, I'll give it a go. Yeah, it's not brilliant, but it didn't cost me anything, so whatever. And you've got people talking positively about games that if they had to buy them at 50 quid, actually a lot of people would be really upset.
And that also depresses me as well, because the idea that it's like, oh, I've only paid £2 for this, so that means it's worth it to me, is just, I mean, it's like, well, that's fine, but I'd rather be playing something better for £2. And I don't see why, like I don't think we should equate this idea of like how cheap something is with how with the quality of it. Like we should still be hoping that stuff's going to be really good.
And let me just clarify. Obviously, I want every game to be incredible. I just didn't expect.
No, you don't. You're not bothered.
I just didn't expect this game to be incredible, and it's exactly what I expect. Obviously, I want every game to be a stun. Obviously, why would people not? But I didn't expect it. I might have hoped for it. I literally said that a few weeks ago. Imagine if games gets 9s and 10s. Imagine if game gets 9s and 10s. That would be amazing. I certainly hoped for that. It wasn't, but it's exactly where I expect it to land. But yeah, I mean,
so it meted your mediocre expectations.
It met my realistic expectations of what a game with a really incredibly troubled development and was essentially another Crackdown game. It's landed exactly where I thought it would be.
Can you tell us more about this incredibly troubled development? Because I'd like to know some more about it.
I don't know about it, honestly, but we all know it's taken like years to get even where we are. And like Sumo came in and saved it, and
so about 5 different developers worked on it.
Yeah. I know, but in the game itself, it's impressed me how much I'm enjoying it actually, because it's really basic but in a way that's like really nice actually. It's like I was playing it on Saturday and like Jill and Eddie were out the house for a couple of hours and I was just playing it. It was like sunny in the game. I was like, this really does feel like a 360 game in all the best ways for me. There's no season pass, there's no battle pass, there's no like 14 release dates, there's no meta, there's no nerf this. It's just literally you're in the game, there's loads of dumb enemies to kill or not, there's bosses, or you just jump around the entire city collecting orbs, which just feel really good to collect. It's like, I just love the fact it's just really simple, and I just sit down, relax, play it. There's no stresses or worries. It feels like a 360 game transported today in the best way without all the complexity of today's games, which admittedly mostly I love, and we all know I'm a big fan of a battle pass, but hang on, but it's just like, it was just nice to play a game. It's just, this feels like another Crackdown game, and there's no stress, there's no pressure. It's just enjoy a stupid, dumb game. And it's really fun to collect those bloody orbs. It's really fun to kill loads of mindless enemies. It's really fun to bomb around town and jump out your car. It's not going to set the world alight. It wasn't going to be another Last of Us. There's no incredible story. It's all pretty dumb and stupid, but I'm having an absolute blast playing it.
I do know what you mean. There is something oddly relaxing about it.
Because you can switch your brain off when you're playing it.
Yeah,
basically.
totally. Like you don't even really have to aim at anything.
No, you don't have to aim. It's just nice, yeah.
And I enjoy the fact that like the dialogue is basically rubbish, but it's so aware that it's just a load of stupid shit, and occasionally very funny. So I'm down with that as well. Like I can see myself putting time into this. I'm only a couple of hours in, but
I've probably played like three or 4 hours, and I mean I haven't done any bosses. There were like so there is like a story whereby you basically get like fucked up in the open cutscene, and then there's those like these 7 or 8 like gang bosses around the city.
It's the story from the first game again. So you don't have to explain.
Okay, well, no, it's that, and basically like as you do various like missions and stuff relating to each of these enemies, you gain more knowledge of that boss, and that helps you when you go to actually kill that boss, and there's like 7 or 8 of them. I haven't done any of that stuff. I've just done like there's some monorail stations you could defend, and I've freed some prisoners in these other areas, but I've mostly I've done those things and some stunt rings, and I've done like little bits here and there. Mostly I've been running around collecting all the orbs, hidden orbs. I've absolutely loved doing that. It's been brilliant. Very relaxing. Just play the game, have a lovely time. Me and James played co-op on Sunday, and it was like a totally different game because James was going for all the bosses. So when I got into his game, there's like I can't remember the name of the boss, but there's one around there's like sewage pipes and like radioactive stuff, and there's like a million enemies shooting me. I was like, James, this isn't relaxing at all. This is like what?
Because that's the game.
I know.
That's
and I will get to that stage, I guess. But I was like, you should come into my world, James. It's so nice and calm. But it was pretty cool. We did like a few of those radioactive waste. What it didn't matter. We did a few things, killed the boss. It was dumb and stupid. Even that felt like playing on a 360. Me and you playing co-op again against some stupid dumb boss with a massive energy meter. And it's just had a good time. I
do think that. So obviously, Sumo won't have had a huge amount of time to sort this game out, and I do think. So they won't have had time to like really sort of iterate on it or do something like really new and cool with it. So I think going for that sort of nostalgia, going the nostalgia route is quite smart, and it does basically work. But equally, I understand James's disappointment that there isn't like anything new in it.
I mean, I guess the new thing, and I haven't played it yet, is like the multiplayer cloud stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I should give that a go.
And in terms of that destruction, I mean, obviously when we've heard about it, that sounded amazing. And when we also later heard, that's just in multiplayer, not single player, I was like, well, that's totally shit. Like, that's like the one of the big things that's new, now it's in. But haven't now played the single player or playing the single player, I can totally see why that's not in there, and I don't think it actually makes sense because so much of the game is about the verticality, about climbing these structures, trying to find new orbs. I think if you could destroy everything, you'd be like, well, now what do I do, or how do I get to places? This feels like I mean, I played a very tiny bit of the first one, but even the second one, it feels like a much higher game. It feels like there's many more orbs in various random locations, and I think if they had that destruction in single player, and you could just blow up buildings, they'd be like, well,
I know they'd have had to have designed a different kind of game, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but so much about it. So much about this game is the verticality and so on and so forth. And there's loads of little quality of life issues, quality of life fixes to make that easier and nicer and stuff as well. But I don't know. But I do want to play that and try out the Wrecking Zone to see what that cloud destruction's like, because I reckon it'd be quite a blast. A blast. I think if anyone listens to this and you played the first one and loved it, you will absolutely love the third one without a shadow of a doubt.
I mean, as I keep clarifying here, I don't hate this game. I think it's absolutely fine. I just wish that it'd be more, and I was expecting that it would have been more, given the amount of push that Microsoft have given it since they announced it as being a big thing. For them.
James, you're a man of low expectations. I can't believe my expectations were lower than yours for this game. Or maybe they're more realistic.
My expectations were not high, honestly, but I still. I wouldn't say expect, but I'd still hope that there would be more from this. Because if you think about how the open world games have evolved, over 5 years or whatever, you'd think that there'd been something there that would have been a bit more than what there is.
No, because I think they saw what happened with the second Crackdown, and they overcomplicated that and made that weird and just bad with all the zombies and the various locations. I knew they'd just go back to basics, and that's exactly what this is. It's a sequel to the first game. You can play now on Game Pass for free if you've got a subscription. And anyone listening to this, if you haven't played it and you've got a Game Pass, definitely download it and give it a go. I reckon you'll probably have a great time.
How do we feel about the way it looks? I know, James, you were saying you weren't a fan.
I mean,
I find it fascinating how there are some really stunning views and some really weird architecture and stuff, and yet most buildings, once you get up close to them, you're just like, oh, it's a fucking box with windows.
Yeah, it really does feel like an upscaled 360 game.
I think they call it stylised.
Yeah,
it doesn't even feel stylised as the first one. There is obviously some cell shading, but if that even feels sort of dialed down. I mean, graphically, it's not going to blow away into some best graphics of the year awards, but I guess it's very basic.
Actually, so playing it on PC, I've got it on medium settings, and then I thought, do you know what? Let's just whack it up, see what happens, see if it runs all right. It sort of ran okay, but putting the settings up a bit made everything a bit there's a really sort of heavy bloom effect on everything the point that it actually made it quite difficult to see what I was doing sometimes, and it was a bit sort of distracting. So I ended up turning it down again.
It definitely looks better in the day than it does nighttime.
Yeah,
but I haven't actually played in 4K. I've only played in 1440p upstairs in the office, but I haven't actually played.
I was going to say I've seen tweets saying the HDR implementation is brilliant.
Okay,
not that I'd know.
No, of course not.
But Yeah, apparently it's really well done. So I bet the nighttime in the town at night. I bet in the nighttime scenes do actually look really good because it's all fucking neon shit everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's a bit sort of cyberpunk in a way, which sort of suits that. Obviously, like you play as a cybernetically enhanced super soldier, so it sort of fits. So I say it's visually, it's just strange in that like I'll see things from a distance that look really impressive, and then I get up close and it's a fucking cube with windows.
Yeah. Everything's
odd,
a big old cube, but I'm going to keep going until I get the orbs.
That was, it is fucking addictive getting the orbs.
Oh yeah, it really
and it is addictive just shooting people, and the little things pop out of them and drift over to you, and you get points, and occasionally you get better. And
I've been enjoying battering people, just to try and get the strength stat up.
I mean, even after playing like with James on Sunday, I'm like, okay, because the co-op is really weird, and anyone listening to it who haven't played it, you need to be aware because I think it's like Keza McDonald's review on Kotaku mentioned this that she lost her entire world. I think basically you can create a player, and when you load up, you say like, okay, I want this agent in this world save. Right. And even when I was loading, I was like, well, why is that about? But basically, when you go into when you play co-op with a friend, and this is what she did. It then asks you to select a world. Do not select your existing single player world. Create a new world, because what she did was she selected her standard one, went into her friend's game, and that basically wrote over her existing single player game with like the person she was playing with. I don't know if that's a bug or what, but she lost basically everything because that person had barely started playing the game.
Jesus.
Even yesterday when I was like, okay, James, we need to, I looked at that review, I said, James, we need to be aware of this. I've started another world. But even when I did that, I was like, I hopefully I've done it right. And I went into James's it's like my character, new world, but into James's world. It's very complicated. Again, that part was probably built before co-op was even a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Crackdown 3. I'll recommend it.
It's fine.
Yeah, it is fine.
Absolutely fine.
It's absolutely fine. Slap that on the box. Right, I've just got one more to talk about, so I might just do that, and it's just me revisiting one. I've been playing more of Earth Defense Force 5.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good. I finally got to the point where, so my favourite class is the Air Raider, which is the guy who like doesn't really have like a proper gun. He has like a limpet mine launcher, which is kind of shit, but he can call in airstrikes and vehicles and stuff. And I finally got him to a point where he's got like a decent selection of airstrikes and a fucking mech. And I've got to a point in the campaign where you meet like these new enemies they've introduced that are like, so basically they're like giant bipedal frogs with guns, and and they sort of like, they're like the size of like a tall building, and they sort of traipse about and shoot at you. And there's this whole system where like you can shoot their limbs off and they regenerate, but like, and after like a couple of minutes. So like if you're really struggling with one, you can just take its legs out and it just sort of falls on his back and sort of carries on trying to shoot at you. But while you figure out, actually like do enough damage to actually kill him. And it's just weird and funny as fuck, and it's everything that I love about Earth Defense Force. I think I might actually stream that tomorrow night, even though it's not really an indie game, because I think that'll be good fun. I'm just really glad I persevered with it, because I was initially a bit like, I'd played sort of the first like 10 missions or whatever, and I was like, this is great. It's another Earth Defense Force game. It's not really doing anything that's really really surprising me or anything, but yeah, it's now like quite regularly thrown in new enemy types and stuff, and has been a lot of fun. So yeah, been enjoying that. But awesome. That is it from me. Matt, what else did you have to talk about?
So I mean, actually other than them, it's just a standard one. So still playing Bloodborne and still loving it. And Resident Evil 2, I had another stream. The one 2 weeks ago, I was absolutely losing my mind. This last one, I was a lot better. I don't know if I've become braver or I just been able to deal with it now. But I'm out of the police station. I'm now down the sewers, and I can't wait to play it again. Just because cool. It is way less stressful. So no, that's pretty much about it for me. But
cool.
Yeah,
James.
I've had a bunch of stuff because I mean, apart from the stuff we've already talked about, I think the two major things was I played Life is Strange 2.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, of course.
The episode that we mixed up with. I mean, obviously we can't talk about this because it's mostly spoilers and stuff. I I generally enjoyed the episode, but I did feel that there was like a lot less agency like this time around.
Okay.
And I felt like I was being funneled like a lot more than I have done the other ones. I mean, did you feel that at all?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Really?
I think that's why I was disappointed, because the first episode of season 2, so much happens. Again, we've covered it. That typically what has to happen in the first episode of any series. They outline those new characters and the mechanics and how it works, but there was so much happened in that first episode, and I felt like there was a big drop off. It did gradually improve, and maybe after the first 90 minutes was pretty sedentary, just going through stuff. But it gradually did. It kept going up after that. I don't think it ever reached the heights of the first one. But I mean, would you say you're disappointed with it, James, or you just?
I wouldn't say I was disappointed, but it did feel, and this will sound weird considering what kind of game it is, but it felt like a filler episode.
Oh yeah,
in a way.
It totally did. Yeah.
Which was kind of a bit of a shame, I thought, considering how long we've waited for this. But then it does build up to something to see where we're going next. But then also, I'm not sure where they're going with this, to be honest. It's a bit difficult to see like what the end game can be for it. But
I've got ideas about the story, but it does feel a little bit lost. I mean, I guess like the first episode was it was incredibly intense. We probably couldn't have had, these series need filler episodes in a way. They need like peaks and troughs. We couldn't have just had that level of intensity for the entire series.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, I thought at the end and the last like half an hour or so, it was like, okay, this is good, some good stuff, and I can't wait to see where it goes. But and I'm obviously going to play the rest of the series, and nothing was ever going to stop me. Even if it was a terrible episode, I would have carried on. We need you to play it, Sean, so we can do our spoiler cast.
I know, I need to sort this out. I do. How long was it? Is it like still sort of 3-4 hours?
It's not that long. It's about 2 hours or so.
No.
Okay,
I mean, it took me like 3 hours 20.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours short.
Okay.
Bollocks was it 2 hours? I think you're forgetting how long these things take. Yeah, it was. I mean, I heard 4, but it took me like about 3:20.
4? No way. There's no way it's that long. I played it like in an evening. It's like it's not. I didn't sit there for 4 hours.
But it was about 3 hours
crazy.
for me.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I'll try and do that this week, and then we'll schedule in.
Yeah, just get that done. And Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah,
Then
easy.
the other thing I played was that I went back to play The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah.
The final season, because I had episode 2 already downloaded and 3 like came out not so long ago. Mm-hmm. So over the weekend, I thought, okay, I'm going to go back to this. And obviously, I can't really say a lot again because of story spoilers, etc. And that is kind of the focus. But I've got to say that I kind of enjoyed it more than I did playing Life is Strange.
I was going to ask, because there's obviously, the comparison. Okay, so in what way did you enjoy this more?
It was just, I think the character building in this has been very good. I mean, I would say that I think this is, I mean, obviously this is not as good as like the first season of The Walking Dead. I mean, but what is, because that was kind of like perfect. Mm-hmm. But it's easily the best series that has been since the beginning. Yeah. Like, absolutely, definitely. And the engine feels like really well realised by this point, and like even the action sequences are fun to play. And there was like a level of engagement I felt in this that I felt that was missing from Life is Strange, like really, because I really did begin to care about the characters and also feel anger as well, which I've not felt for a long time from playing these sorts of games with the actions of certain characters, where I thought, I am absolutely going to get revenge on you or whatever because of what you've done. And as I said, I've not felt that for a long time, so it felt a lot more sort of impactful to me than Life is Strange did so far. And it does a really good choice of having, I mean, it's got like the usual sort of like gut-wrenching choices, but they don't feel sort of like as overblown and as obvious as they did in like earlier, the other series as they've done. And they've done a really good job of sort of mirroring, because like in the first series you had the whole thing of like you're trying to like sort of guide Clementine like through like sort of growing up basically, and they're mirroring that in this, and it's really interesting to see the way that Clementine has learnt the lessons from Lee and the things that she's gone through and how she's then passing this on.
Yeah, I've heard that that's one of the best things about the season, the sort of how it apes the first season.
And it works so well because it really does do that whole thing of like, because the character you're with that you're sort of showing how to sort of exist, it does do the whole sort of like, he is watching everything you do and the decisions you make, and even like the way that you speak, and you just sort of notice like he starts to pick up on ways you speak and starts to like copy you and stuff like that, and it's really interesting to see how that sort of I found myself playing and trying to sort of shape thinking how I'm trying to shape him as a character rather than the way that Clementine would react, maybe, I think. And that's what I found kind of interesting about it. And, I'm really looking forward to the finale, because there's only one episode left now. And, yeah, there's a return of a character as well from, like, the first series, which was really interesting to see how that sort of, like, panned out. And I really would recommend it. I think you could probably play... If you've played the first series, you could just even skip to this and play this, and you won't really feel that you've missed much in between, because the series that came after them were never they never really reached the same sort of heights. And this tells a really good sort of self-contained story as well, I think, but also finishing off like where Clementine's going, I think. But yeah, we don't know where
it really does
is.
make me, because I actually played the first episode of this last season. I just didn't go back, and I really enjoyed it. I actually thought it was worth, but. Yeah, I do. I feel like I have to, really. I haven't loved... I loved the first one and played... Wait, is this season 4? Yeah. I played all the 3 seasons previously. I should carry on with this, really. And I've heard...
Yeah, it is really the best... I feel like the best one not now, because they're done, aren't they? But it was like... It was really good.
Mechanically, how do you think this compares to Life is Strange 2?
I'd say that they're very similar at this point now in terms of like quality. Although I would have to say, this did crash twice on me while I was playing it, which wasn't great. But in general, though, there's not as much interactivity with this.
No, but I guess that's been going down, hasn't it?
Yeah, you spend a lot of time in Life is Strange like wandering around, like picking stuff up, looking at stuff and things like that. You don't do that so much in this, but this feels significantly more focused, which I think also works, like for the type of story they're trying to tell. It's I really think it's worth playing. Even if you've only just played, if you've skipped all the other stuff, it's as long as you played the first season, you'll get something out of this, because there's so many callbacks to the first season as well, and very little to anything that's gone before that. It's or after that rather. It's
Do you know when the last episode's out?
I think is it March or April? Okay. I can't remember. It's quite soon. And I'll be really sad to see this go, because
it's a shame how it's ended, because that first one was just utterly mind-blowingly good.
Yeah, and this is as I said, it's not quite up there yet, but it's still very interesting and very worth playing.
Cool.
And the only other game I played was I played Deadly Premonition again on Friday, and I'm still having a good time with this game actually, and I had a bad encounter with a demon dog, which really scared me. Yeah, it was something I wasn't expecting to happen, and that was quite awful. Mm-hmm. But then I also discovered that the character, if you don't wash yourself, he gets surrounded by flies. You see. Now, this adds an extra layer of hilarity to cutscenes and to when you're talking to people, because you see, I didn't notice this. Like, I got up like out of the bed or whatever, and it said, "Oh, you smell" or whatever. I was like, "Okay, fine, I don't really care." And so I went off to this diner to get some breakfast, and I was like walking around, and there was all like flies in the diner. I was like, "This place is disgusting." They ought to be shut down. But then I didn't realise it was me. Like, it was my character.
That's brilliant.
And I was like, there's this bit where you have to go to this hall to meet all the townspeople, and he's sitting on this stage with the sheriff and all the other people, and there's just flies just flying around everywhere around him, and it looks really funny, but nobody comments on it.
Because that'd be too much effort to have characters actually change their dialogue for it. But yeah,
definitely.
No, because I knew it had real time beard growth, but I didn't realise it. Made you stink as well. That's brilliant.
But yeah, it's just all these flies flying around. I'm just thinking, and then so I was asking, what do you think? Should I just not shower for the rest of the game and just see how bad this gets? And I'm thinking I'm just going to leave it. I just want to see how it goes.
So is your guy growing a beard as well? Is that happening?
I hope so. I've not seen yet, but I've not shaved, so I'm hoping that's going to happen as well. Because it looks it's really good. The dialogue is consistently good, because it has just got all these continual just crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's this guy who was sort of doing like Elvis and stuff, and it was just terrible. But you just look at him, you're like, what a prick! Just the way he's behaving is just really funny. But a lot of it also reminds me of Shenmue, in the terms of it's that sort of weird translation thing of you're not sure, is this a cultural thing, a cultural reference that hasn't been translated very well or something like that. And the only thing that's wrong with this game is the fighting sections, which are awful, but the actual other stuff is Gold. It's very entertaining to play. And I haven't suffered that problem with the petrol, Sean, with the car.
Have you not?
I reckon maybe the director's cut or whatever like that, they took that out or something. Or maybe because I'm playing it on easy. Because I've been driving around all over the place like a lunatic. And it's been fine.
Good.
It's been all right.
You must be halfway through. You've done like 5 streams, right? So you must be halfway through the game or so now, or maybe a little bit less.
I have no idea.
It's like a 20+ hour game, isn't it? It's a biggie. It's a big boy.
Yeah, it's But it's good. I mean, it's definitely. I've begun to like look forward to it every Friday because I just want to see what's going to happen next. And it's definitely worth playing.
Cool.
I also play. I mean, I played Call of Duty. Not Call of Duty. What the hell?
Blackout?
Why on earth would I say that? No.
Oh.
I played Destiny 2 again.
Oh fuck.
Okay.
I played Destiny 2 again because I downloaded the what's it called, the most recent, the Forsaken.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I downloaded that. And I did the thing that we talked about before where I switched on HDR because I didn't realise that I hadn't switched it on properly and then was completely blown away by
Classic.
it.
Yeah, very good, isn't it?
But yeah, that's been enjoyable to play. And I also play Warframe as well. But because the people I play with on a Friday have started playing that. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. It is Destiny. Like it is very clearly like a knockoff like sort of version. But we'll see.
So do you think you're going to stick with Hound? So you've got. Are they not all playing Destiny as well?
Nah, they don't play Destiny because it's the 3-player fire team thing, which is the nuisance. Yeah. Which Warframe doesn't have that problem. So that's.
But are they all Day 1 Division 2?
Yeah, that'll be the next one that we'll be playing. Definitely that.
Cool.
Probably not Anthem. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not really taken off that, has it? Anthem. I gather it is technically out now.
Well, is it not? I thought it was a early Origin Access Premier people.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
I don't think it's out properly.
I've seen like a few people tweeting
you have
about
to check out the Matrix.
Yeah.
I don't think it's out properly until the 22nd, till Friday.
Oh, right, okay.
I think it's
that would make more sense.
I've seen Origin Access Premier PC people, I think.
Oh, okay, because I've seen people tweeting about it, but they're all just a bit like, it's a bit boring. But, well, no, we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, it could come back in a year's time and I think it'll probably be incredible. So.
Yeah.
If it's still around in a year's time.
It will be.
Right. Emails, James.
Okay, Stuart Barker has emailed us. Not Barker. Baker. I don't know what is wrong with me tonight. It's
I was playing GoldenEye.
I know, sorry, Destiny. It's going all over the place.
One entire beer.
Okay, he says, I just wanted to send an email regarding Matt's Resident Evil 2 stream last week. I've never been one for watching streams. It's just something that's never really appealed for me. I can totally understand that. I popped in and out of you guys a few times, but never sat and watched the full stream from start to finish. That was until last week, when the prospect of a Mr. X encounter for Matt was on the cards. I sat and watched the full 2 hours of Matt's Resident Evil 2 stream live, and it was glorious. From the get-go, you could tell Matt was quite nervous and worried about when Mr. X would finally come around, and when he did, it did not disappoint. I think from that point, everything just go worse for him too, from the double lickers to the zombie pop-out scares and the constant fear of X. It was entertaining as hell, and everyone should check out the highlights video, not just for the scare and reactions, but to see Matt at the start and then at the end and what the game did to him. I will, of course, be back for the next instalment if there is one, because part of the chat and watching it first time was so much fun. Mad props to Jill too for the off-camera scare, and thanks to Matt for putting himself through that for entertainment. Keep up the great work, guys. Even without Dave, it's still working really well. Thanks, Stu.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that in there.
I mean, should that not have been in feedback?
That should have been in feedback.
There's no question in it.
There's no question. It was just praising you, Matt.
I didn't want to read the email about myself, so.
I mean, I'm surprised you didn't put that in feedback and in emails as well.
Yeah, I could have put it in both places.
Yeah, just double up on it. Right?
Thanks.
Well, I have no further comment. What's the next email?
No, neither have I. Well done, Matt. You've done a bloody good job. There you go.
Thanks, everyone. And thanks,
I mean, to be fair, James, you have oversight of this section as well. You could have just removed that.
Well, I know, but Matt puts them in here.
Yeah, which is my job anyway, move them around to get him in there. But anyway,
you've got the authority to just change stuff if you want.
I know, but it would look mean-spirited, wouldn't it, if I'd have just cut that just because he was basically
what's mean-spirited? Just leaving it there on purpose so we could then take the piss out of Matt on the show.
It doesn't matter. Everyone agrees it's a great stream. Let's move on.
Okay, this is from Jason. He says, "Hello, pod people. The Nintendo Switch is my first Nintendo home console, and as such, I was looking forward to pouring many an hour to Breath of the Wild. After a dozen hours or so, I just can't continue.
What?
From the clunky controls to the aimless story and the tedious puzzles, I just can't bear it any longer, and that's before I even get to the weapon degradation. I can get £34 for it in CEX and want to know what you'd recommend instead.
Don't do
Should
it.
I just get the best? Should I just get the best game ever made, Final Fantasy IX again?"
I mean,
Jason. Sort your
how
life
can
out.
you advise someone on what game to get when they don't like one of the best games ever made?
I know,
Where'd you go from there?
There's nowhere to go. Sell the Switch, Jason. It's over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just give up.
That's a shame. I feel bad.
That is a shame.
I feel bad that you're not going to experience. I mean, the weapon degradation, sure, that can get annoying, but it's an all-timer. There's no
Clunky
other way
controls. Aimless story. It's a Zelda game. I don't understand what he's after.
Tedious puzzles. He's obviously never played like David Cage.
David Cage. Drink if you're listening. Drink if you've got David Cage in your bingo card. Say that again.
I've got nothing. Sorry, I don't.
Well, you're going to love the next one, Sean, because we've got another bizarre opinion here.
Okay, go on.
Haze Red Mist says, "I've repeatedly tried to get into Mario Galaxy on the Wii, and each time I end up putting the waggle sticks down, convinced it's the worst Mario experience I've played.
What is going on?
The controls are horrific. The planet stroke gravity perspective mechanics are annoying, and the hub world is a confusing mess.
God.
The question to the host is, what games you play does everyone else love, but to you they're shit? I don't want to answer that question because that's just wrong.
No, what is happening this week?
Yeah.
Has everyone slipped over and fallen and land on their head? I will say, Dave probably agrees because he never played it either, but Mario Galaxy is unbelievable. Like, I can't read, like, that. It felt almost like, this is such a shitty thing to say, but, using the motion controls to control Mario in a way with also, like, the planetary gravity and stuff, it felt almost more than 3D in some really crazy way. Like, you're juggling so many different elements. The first Mario Galaxy is stunning.
And there's not that much, like, the waggle stuff, that's literally just to make him do the spin attack. That's it. And you don't, it's not, like, you don't have to waggle it, you just flick it once, and that's that. Yeah. It's not like, you're sitting there going, shaking it back and forth.
Imagine not wanting to engage with that game.
No.
It's...
People's
I want it on Switch
brains,
so bad.
Man. Yeah, I really do.
I mean, speaking of waggle, admittedly, Twilight Princess didn't do anything for me with a waggle.
Do you know? Hang on, I think we're being trolled here.
Seriously, think we might be.
This is like 2 emails of just like people just trolling us. Yeah. They're just like, that's what this has got.
There's an email slag on Tetris 99 in a minute.
Next one says that David Cage games are good.
Hey, that was my notes actually. I should delete them. Thanks for the email, Hazelwood Miss.
Yeah, but
you're wrong.
Have a word.
Sort your life out.
Right, what's next?
Okay, Adam B says, "Hi guys, congrats to Dave on the arrival of his new baby. I've recently had my first child. Congratulations." I said that, not him. 9 weeks old today. 9 weeks and unfortunately, he's not a great sleeper. This makes doing anything else very difficult and limits my already limited time for gaming. I've always loved when you talked about being dads on the show, as you never shied away from how hard it is, but now it feels especially relevant to me. I'm sure you've talked about this before, but how did you cope with your first child, and how much did your gaming life suffer during those first months? Does it get better?
It gets better.
It does get better.
It does get better for sure. I know James and I especially, we've suffered with babies with colic. I don't know, Matt, was yours?
Yeah, we had that, big stuff.
Okay,
we basically bought every single option there was in Boots over the course of the first few months.
Yeah. It can be incredibly bad. Like, I know was it Danny O'Dwyer tweeted about it? He's like, I've got a baby and it's great. It just sleeps all the time. And I was like, fuck you. It's a total roll of the dice. Some just do not sleep, and it is incredibly hard. It's just so stressful because you've got this new thing and you love it more than anything in the world, and it basically just seems to despise being alive. It is a really horrible feeling, and I totally feel for you. And
it is like a roll of the dice because with our second child, it wasn't like that at all. It's like, it was funny because I had the whole experience where it was like, he slept through the night really early, and we were like this isn't crack. It's, and it's like it was a big shock that it wasn't like that. But it's it depends. But the first child, awful.
But
absolutely awful.
It's tough on numerous fronts. It's not only if you've got like the child and Elodie, she was cluster feeding at the beginning, so that was like every 45 minutes she would wake up. I mean, obviously day or night, it doesn't matter. Every 45 minutes she'll wake up for a feed. We were struggling with like breastfeeding at that point as well, and then like she had colic, and like we're constantly freaking out about this, that, and the other. Like for the first few weeks, I basically slept on the couch because Jill couldn't really sleep in the same room as Elodie because she was making Elodie was making so many noises. So I would basically sleep on the couch with Elodie next to me in like the lounge. And then like Jill had like a really like horrendous like first 9 months. Basically, it was just horrific and. As bad as they can get. So we also had like child to deal with. Plus, make sure Jill was as fine as she could be. It is horrific, and I've never really felt anger in my life, but that was the first time I'd ever truly felt anger, and it's horrible. It's just horrific. Like I wanted to join a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu club. That's how much I wanted to kill someone.
That's the thing, because it sounds really horrible. It's not anger at the child; it's anger at your own inability to do anything.
It's just the whole thing. I mean, like you're tired, and then like it's just everything is just it's horrendous. But you will get through it. I mean, it sounds bad, but I mean, like, for us, it totally changed around when she was 2, which sounds like that's a long time, 2 years, but.
It's not. And Rachel still doesn't sleep, and she's 9 tomorrow.
Oh God!
So
I mean, Isaac still doesn't sleep through. He still has a night feed, which he really should have grown out of, and I think we need to start like trying things to see if we can fix that. But he's all like. It's just when your kid starts being like really fun to be around. Like obviously you love them and you love seeing them and you love watching them sleep and all the rest of it. Like when they're actually more like an active presence in your house, like that's so much better.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, well, we found around 2 was like everything changed. Yeah, like personality. Was really massively came out then, even before that. But it's incredibly tough. But in terms of like. It did gaming life stuff. I mean, like for the first few weeks, like it was just after the PS4 might come out, maybe like because they're just born November in like December, and anyway, I think the PS4 had been out basically a month, so I basically just watched off on Twitch for the first few weeks, then played loads of The Room on iOS. We've mentioned that before, and of course, like gamer stuff is like the amount of times I think. Maybe we're trying to play Destiny at that point, and I'll just have to like break off in the middle of a strike because there's like crying baby, and it's like gaming obviously suffers, but it gets better, and you find ways around it.
Yeah. See, I wasn't playing a lot of that stuff anyway because we were living in Shanghai when we had Rachel, which I absolutely would not recommend because that was a whole different level of of issues that we had to deal with there. I mean, I remember I played a lot of DS games like during that time because it was one of those things, you could just I played all the Phoenix Wright games, so I just played all those and then just like because you could just like snap it shut and then get on with whatever you had to deal with. But I have a lot of stories I could tell about that. It was it was not a fun experience.
Yeah,
it
was
terrible.
Yeah, as bad as Isaac was, I have got fond memories of. So I played a lot of Stardew Valley on the Switch. Having already played the PC version quite a lot, basically, it came out on the Switch like the week before he was born, and so those times where he did just sleep on me, that was really cool. Watching a lot of like police documentaries at 2 a.m. whilst playing Stardew Valley on the Switch, that was really cool. He seemed, I don't know if he actually. Like if he liked the noises or what, but he always seemed like really cool with No Man's Sky. Played quite a bit of that with him for some reason.
Maybe the colours as well. I don't know.
Possibly, yeah, because it's also so vibrant. Maybe that helped. But yeah, basically, like handheld gaming is better. It's just like it's the whole thing of you'll take ages. It can be like 90 minutes of getting screamed at by the baby, and then as soon as he settles, and you're like, oh, thank fuck, and you sat down and you're like, shit, the remote is just out of reach.
Oh,
and if I move, I am fucked. So, in terms of advice, it's like, just make sure you've got everything you need within arm's reach before even if it might be another hour before the baby actually falls asleep, and you think, oh, well, I'll have a chance to do that. You won't. You will not have a chance to do anything else.
Get a utility belt.
Yeah, basically.
Like a builder. Phone, remote, batteries, water, a lot.
See, also I found that because like you're so like wired anyway for like just keep having to get up at any second to sort of like deal with stuff. Yeah. I found it not very difficult to like actually just get back into a game again or whatever because I already felt my mind was like really active anyway.
Yeah, because you don't really sleep.
It was fine.
Like you shut your eyes and you fall unconscious for a short amount of time, but you don't fall into the same sleep as you used to. Like you do just how you adapt to just sort of getting naps all the time instead of really sleeping is really weird.
And is there anything worse?
I'm not sure you ever really adapt out of that again because it still feels like that for me.
Yeah, I really struggle to get 8 hours even when I have the opportunity to do so now.
Yeah, because I mean, we still, as I said, we still have my daughter still just gets up,
of course, like
in the night all the time. Yeah. So yeah, it's and scares us. Which is and
nice. Like the thing that's really hard. I mean, this is getting away from the game stuff now. This is just pure dad chat. I don't know if you guys found this, but like because so like previous generation, the advice was just like, oh, well, just leave him to cry. And and we're very much taught not to do that. I mean, some people still do just because they feel like they have no other option, which is I totally get.
Not do that.
Yeah. But it's just like all the advice you get from like your parents or even people from work or whatever is like 30 years out of date. So you're just like, oh, can you not just buy like this medication? It's like, no, that was actually made illegal because it's not safe.
You can't do it anymore.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, but
no, just give them some whiskey. It's fine.
I mean, we couldn't let her cry anyway because we were like living in like an apartment with like tiny thin walls and like thousands of other people around us, and it's like people just start hammering on the walls and stuff like that anyway. So. Yeah, it's like it just doesn't work.
And crying was so bad. There was like a controlled crying phase where we tried to do it, but and I could withstand it, but Jill would basically last 30 seconds. No, can't do it. I mean, they say you should do it because obviously they're doing it because they know they're getting your attention, and that's why you shouldn't run in the room straight away. Give them like a few minutes. Like no, because it's horrific. Like even now, if I'm out anywhere, I don't know, like a train, bus, or a shop or restaurant, if I hear like a newborn baby cry. I get a flashback. I
feel like I have to do something. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I still get agitated sometimes when because you just think I've got to deal with like like a minute.
But yeah, the real takeaway here is that it does get better. So just hang in there.
Yeah, and it is worth it, no matter how bad like at points. Ultimately, it's worth it, and like you'll go through horrendous times, but it does get better. It is worth it. And it's amazing. But
so like,
oh my
today,
god, it's a war for the first year and a bit. It's a war.
So like as an example of just like things that just totally make your day, like Isaac he was sat on the floor in the living room and Mara the dog she'd found like a letter from the bank or something and started like tearing that up, and Isaac like went over and was just grabbing bits of the paper and just tearing them off and just feeding them to the dog. And it was and he was just pissing himself laughing, and it was just like the funniest thing I've ever seen. So just stuff like that makes it all worthwhile, basically. Is that it? I think we've covered that pretty well.
I mean, we could go for hours about on dad chat, but I think that's probably it for now.
It is a separate podcast waiting to happen, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah, I mean, I've got some horror stories.
Yeah.
I'm sure we all have.
Just one more quick one. I was talking to a mate the other day about like neighbours. I mean, as it happens, sort of, you worry about like how much the neighbours can hear the babies crying and stuff, and we were just talking about like said friend actually has issues with the neighbour who he lives in a flat and the neighbour like bangs on the ceiling, like tells the baby to shut up and stuff. And I was saying, when Isaac was really bad, like I used to fantasize about one of my neighbours coming round and saying something shitty so that I could punch them.
Yes, yeah.
So that's that's how bad it gets.
Come round, you twat! I dare you.
Yeah, please just give me a fucking excuse to hit someone. And that's not me. I'm not that kind of person. But there you go. Right, what's next?
Okay, Kurt Lewin says, with Apex being a success so far, with it just being released out of the blue with no pre-release marketing, do you think we might see other big-budget games take the same approach? I know that a few indies have released out of the blue, but do you think it's an approach we might see future games adopt, or is Apex a unique case? I think it's unique in this case. I don't think... Because they put so much into marketing and like building hype and everything. The reason they did this with this was because of EA, and because of they were worried about negative like backlash because of EA. can't see why other companies would do that.
I think it's like Apex is fairly unique in, like I said last week, that it was so like they knew it was good, but they knew what people would think if they just heard about it. So they just gave it us, and that seems to have worked.
But they also knew they had like all those influencers on board, so it was going to have a big push. Like that was arguably their marketing, and but you're also totally right. Like, it's an EA battle royale game with loot boxes. Like that's not going to play well. So let's not give people the chance to like have a negative feeling towards it. Let's just release it. They knew they had a great product on their hands. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see others potentially. But I reckon we'll probably see one in the next like 12 to 18 months, thinking they'll do an Apex and it not working. But Apex
totally.
Was a unique
you saw
case.
that with so when Rocket League went to PlayStation Plus, which is a similar deal, I guess. Like that just sort of came out of nowhere and everyone was going nuts over it. And then you got over the next, not immediately, but like sort of 6 to 12 months down the line, you'd get other sort of sport-ish games appearing on PlayStation Plus, presumably hoping for another Rocket League, and it just not happening.
Yeah, like games like Laser League was one. I was like, this could be big,
which is apparently really good, and that just didn't happen. Then again, so Bethesda with Fallout 4, they revealed that very close to release, didn't they? Yeah, and that seemed to work.
Isn't that arguably what we always want? Like we want. No one would really super enjoys or wants these 18-month, 2-year windows. We're like, hey, so Starfield's coming out in 2021. It's like in a perfect world, they would announce it and it'll be out now or out next week. Like that's what's exciting about these sort of things. But
it's
rarely.
But they also like to build hype, don't they? And sort of build anticipation for stuff. But then that can, as we've seen many, many times over the last couple of years, it can be like a double-edged sword doing that because it can also let people down.
Actually, in terms of Apex, I think they were hoping that it would have actually been unveiled on the Monday, but actually some of the influencers leaked some stuff over the weekend. That's why we even had the weekend head start on it, because otherwise it would have been Respawn are doing a stream and it's happening now. What the hell's happening?
Yeah,
but it's only because something's leaked over the weekend and we had even a few days. But yeah.
Do you think maybe if this does become more widely adopted, I wonder if it is like a response to general cynicism that you get online, and as you say, sort of because people have been let down so many times, maybe people aren't as receptive to teasers and stuff as they used to be. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
I've often thought,
I think there is a lot of cynicism around all that stuff because. Yeah, there's been so many E3s, isn't there, of all the trailers and stuff, and it all looks amazing, and then it's like,
actually, half of it's not going to come out, and then
there's one game where they will definitely release in this way, and that'll be Half-Life 3. If Half-Life 3 ever comes out, there's no way they're going to say we're doing it again, guys, and it'll be out in 2 years. I think if that game ever does come out, then it'll be it's out on Monday or it's out now. Yeah, that'll be the only way they could actually do that. I think.
Yeah. Totally. Which again, it's that thing of because the weight of expectation on it is so huge. Yeah. Nothing they can show us, it would all just get torn apart.
It'll be a total joke if they had an E3. It's coming in, end of 2020. It's oh, fuck off.
No one cares.
Yeah, that game has to come out now or tomorrow or next week and that'll be a mind-blowing announcement. But
Yeah. So to answer the question, I don't think Apex is a unique case, but I think it is well suited to this sort of approach.
Absolutely.
But I don't see why other games couldn't do similar.
Maybe FIFA 20 will be the same. Hang on, what?
No one saw that coming. All right, what's next?
Should we do another email, or do you want to do some tweets?
Let's do another email. But we haven't got many tweets anyway, so let's stick with emails.
Yeah, we've only got a couple.
It's 11:15.
We'll have you in bed by 11, don't worry.
Come on.
All right. David Trapmore says, podcasts have been great as ever and really enjoying the dynamic you've got going at the moment. Are there any games that you guys have obsessed over to the point of thinking about them, watching YouTube videos and reading articles long past you finish playing them, and then replaying them as soon as you get the foggy haze back where you can't remember all the details of how they play out? A few for me recently have been Bloodborne, Breath of the Wild, and most recently Hollow Knight. I've got a mountain of new unplayed games to get through, but I just found myself restarting Hollow Knight again after they announced the sequel.
Hollow Knight, definitely. I can't see myself replaying it. That's madness. But it was definitely one that after finishing it, started going through all like lore videos and stuff and finding it really interesting. Yeah.
See, I had this with games before, but I don't feel I've got time now to do that as much and still play new stuff, so I don't do it as much. But I mean, I definitely did it with. I mean, I remember very clearly doing it with like Deus Ex, like the original Deus Ex. Like I did that a lot. Like read a lot of stuff about that and all that because it fascinated me at the time. And also Shenmue obviously was another one like that. But no, but more recently, not really so much. It's it hasn't really happened so much.
Yeah. I mean, I also have constantly got to keep replaying stuff for the pod and stuff. But Dark Souls for me, I mean, if I see like a new video or something pops up in my like YouTube feed or something shared, I still happily watch it to see, even if it's like a review of what happened back then, or new lore or old lore or new study or documentary. I'll always watch a Dark Souls thing for sure.
Yeah, totally. I'm really excited. I'm doing, I think I'm allowed to say, Kane and Rince, I'm doing Planescape Torment towards the end of this year.
Okay.
And I'm really excited about going back to that, because that was one that like I used to really obsess over, but I was like, I don't know, like 17 at the time and quite stupid. But I gather, but knowing that the game is held in such high regard for its writing and stuff, I'm really looking forward to going back with the giant brain that I have now in comparison. And just sort of reassessing it and hopefully still really enjoying it. But that was a game that like properly got to me for a long time. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Nice one. On to tweets. We haven't got many, so we'll crack on. If you want to tweet us, it's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. Oodles O'Dim has tweeted us. I'm off work this week due to school holidays. Sorry. I'm off this week due to school holidays, like a lot of dads, myself included. I bought Melbit's World on PS4. I think it's Captain Toad meets Playlink in preparation for this week, and the kids love it. Any other non-Nintendo recommendations? Saving Nintendo stuff for the birthdays.
This Melbit's World sounds brilliant. It just Captain Toad meets Playlink, that off the bat sounds really interesting.
But in terms of non-Nintendo stuff, I mean, I was thinking about getting some games for rail this week as well, but I was thinking I can't really think of... I haven't looked into it, admittedly.
Yeah.
I mean, non-Nintendo is tough, because obviously Sony and Microsoft don't do that, really.
Well, there's Knack.
Yeah, but there is Knack. Famously incredibly hard game, so that's not...
What about...
It's not hard at all.
What about...
Not in co-op, it's not. It's easy.
What about Grow Home and Grow Up? I reckon they'd be, I mean, mind you, I don't know how kids would feel about falling to their death and losing loads of progress. Maybe they would not be okay with that. But they're beautiful games, and they're really I don't know.
I know there's a Paw Patrol game, but yeah.
There's all the Lego games.
Of course,
there is all of the Lego games. Yeah, no shortage of those.
A lot of Lego games. Get on that.
Yeah.
This is an interesting question, I thought. Connor at Patter_Thief. Why do you guys think Battle Royale was so popular? Played Apex over the weekend a fair bit, but I end up reinstalling Titanfall 2. I mean, I feel
the same. I don't get.
It's a zeitgeist thing. It's just like everyone's playing it and people are psyched for it. Everyone loved King of the Hill and Capture the Flag and stuff back in the day. So sure, it's just another mode that everyone's excited because it's new, right?
I think the newness of it is a massive part of it, and I think it's just it's a game mode that just lends itself to this really steady escalation in tension. Every match starts out, oh, this is fine, we're just wandering about collecting stuff, and by the end it's absolutely nerve-wracking. I think there's something quite appealing about that escalation in every single game.
It's got the best bits, sort of a sort of single player exciting experience, because you're on, sometimes you can play on your own, but even if you're in a team, it feels like it's a bunch of individuals. You're of your own experience is basically what I'm trying to say. But that also it's a co-op and it's a competitive element. So it's got, it's just there's so many elements to it. But the tension is what feels so unique compared to games we played in the past leading up to this, where we are now.
Yeah, and obviously, and there's the decent map knowledge is a huge bonus, and sort of knowing where people are likely to drop, where it's you're likely to find good stuff, or all that sort of that whole sort of psychological element plays into it. Sort of you want to be where the stuff is, but not where other people are, but other people want to be where the stuff is. So there's just an instant conflict there. There is a lot to it. It's not just as simple as just chuck loads of people in and fight to the death. Like there's a lot of subtleties to it that I think really make it what it is. Which is why so few games have really messed with the formula. Like they all pretty much follow the same template. Like there's a reason for that.
Yeah, it's a winning formula.
Yeah, but I do prefer Titanfall 2. So. There you go.
Futo Exercise at Futo Exercise on Twitter. Should you ever have a gap in your busy streaming schedule? Do each of you have any unappreciated gems that you would like to share with the masses? I'm sure Sean would like to fill it up with obscure classics. Sorry to typecast Sean. P.S. Matt should stream God Hand.
I would very much enjoy seeing you.
I don't know what sort of game that is, and what sort of game is it?
Well, technically it's a Clover game, so it's an early platinum game, and it is a fighting game, and it's very hard but very very good.
I'll have a look.
I think you'll like it. It's fine.
So unappreciated gems, but so if you got answers to that, brilliant. But if not, like, is there a game you'd love to play that you never got a chance to play that you think would work well on the stream?
Fuck. See, I'd still be quite up for streaming Yakuza, but everyone's told me it's not a good streaming game.
No,
so
that's not really streaming.
Just play it first, then we'll see if streaming comes after.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like when I said before, I think I'm going to stream EDF tomorrow or yesterday by the time you hear this, because I feel like that's a game that so few people have a handle on, and I do think its appeal is broader than like you might think, because it never really gets much fanfare, and like the reviews are always pretty good, but they're always sort of caveated with like, but it's kind of low budget and a bit weird, and whereas I think just playing it and enjoying it and letting people watch and talk about it and stuff would be quite good fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. How about you, James?
Maybe the Nomad song.
Yeah.
Do you really want to do another Cage game?
I do. I want to, because it's the last one I've got to play. Yep. I've done all of them if I do that. So yeah.
Only then can you have a well-rounded view on his games.
Yeah.
His full oeuvre. Is that us?
Well, no. There's another one here that Matt you've missed out. Which one was? How can this is from Tom Durbin? He says, I just can't wait anymore. How has no one brought up the fact that Matt used the word doggedly in episode 135?
Well,
I didn't even notice this, but I don't even. What's wrong with the word doggedly?
It was a callback to James's letter.
Well, Matt had a go at me for using the word during the thing. Yeah, so
it's called a reference. It's a callback, baby. Get the program. I'm glad you caught it, Tom. I appreciate that.
I mean, I completely didn't even register.
It's gone over these guys' heads, but I'm glad
completely wasted on me.
Too subtle, way too subtle for this audience.
Yeah.
That's it for tweets and emails and everything. Let's get on to the end bit before Sean does an intro and it gets awkward. We're streaming, of course. We're streaming every single night. If you're listening to this on the day it comes out, Wednesday, I'm streaming Resident Evil 2 Wednesday nights from 9 p.m. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm in the sewers. I'm going to kick that crocodile's ass, or alligator, or whatever the real thing is. I think it's crocodile. So Wednesday night, tonight from 9 p.m, Resident Evil 2. James is back streaming Deadly Premonition Friday night from 9 p.m. I'm back Sunday night from 9 playing Bloodborne, and Sean's playing an indie game of his choice and Play by the Bell Tuesday nights at 9. You can watch all of them twitch.tv/computergameshow. And the archive, if those streams, if you miss it live, to go to our YouTube channel, just search us on YouTube and you'll find them. Twitch sub, if you have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime. Think about going to our account and giving us your free monthly subscription. We massively appreciate it. It really does help. Tons of you have done it already, and we it's amazing to see you guys do that. So yeah, if you have Twitch Prime and Amazon Prime, we really appreciate you giving us your free monthly subscription. And finally, Apple Podcast reviews, they really do help as well. Help us, get a few more people to see us up the charts and this, that, and the other. So if you've got 2 seconds and you're on the Apple Podcast app on iTunes, please think about leaving us a highly rated Apple Podcast review.
I've never actually looked at our Apple reviews.
We've got like 151 now. I think we had like a couple more last week, and they really do help. So if you haven't done one before, please leave one.
All positive, I assume.
The one that Jill left, that she definitely did leave, and it wasn't me, that's still the top rated review. That was the first one we ever got.
Amazing. Right. God, this ended up being quite a long one, didn't it?
It did.
But I've enjoyed myself. I assume
and that's
you guys
the main
have.
thing.
Oh, exactly. As long as I'm all right, you know. But yeah, thanks for listening. Much appreciated, and we will see you either on the streams or same time next week. Thank you for letting us be natural. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.